The clown has no penis.
Oh, it is late Saturday night over here. It's not so late where these guys are. And it is the Mixed Open Show. We're coming into you right now. It's hotter than two squirrels banging behind an Akron all-you-can-eat Chinese buffet bar. It's going to be a burner tonight. Here's the rules of the Mixed Open. There are none. You can swerve out of the gate, go gate 1 to gate 8. You can cut all the way across the last straight. We don't give a shit over here. We encourage our listeners to call in when we open up the all-request Purple Chamber Heart of Gold line. So make sure you guys look for the phone number when it's on the screen. Rick just literally pulled in from the race. And we got Skyway Nick joining us this evening, waking up from his nap. It's going to be a good show. And as we always say, it's all about the crowd participation. So we're looking for participation from everyone that's listening and watching and joining this evening. And we appreciate you guys for that. That's the best intro you're going to get from me. It's 1:45 now.
It's only 8:30 here.
Yep. Rick, we just lost your audio. Make sure your mute's not on. I think we lost Rick's audio.
Yeah, we can't hear you, Rick.
Oh, shit. These are the things. I'll double check here. We're good there. We're good there. All right.
No, now we hear you. Is that?
Nope.
We hear him now. You don't? No?
You hear him?
I heard somebody. Was that you?
Probably. Let me recheck this. Let me go here. Let me go there. He's good.
Who can't we hear here? I'm hearing somebody talking.
Oh, do you have your phone on or anything? Because you might be hearing the replay in the background.
I don't know. My phone's on, but it's not on like the thing. It's just my computer's.
Is it?
You got me now?
Yes.
There you go.
Okay.
No, we didn't have time to test anything. Rick literally ran in from his drive
Just
back.
running, dude. I barely peed, dude.
I barely peed.
Dude, it was a 2-hour drive, and California, you can't have nice things. You can't drive anywhere, on a weekend. It's just like a Monday through Friday rush hour traffic, and everything goes to shit.
It looked like a lot of fun. Wait, who had the record heat today? Was it Skyway Nick or was it you, Rick?
Well, when I pulled in here, it was 101 right now. Jeez. So I don't know what it ended up being throughout the day.
Well, today here our high was 117.
117. Good Lord, baby Jesus. Yeah, that's a big one. I'm thinking we had to be in the 10s, probably the 12s. I know where we were doing the state race over there at Manzanita out in Prunedale, which is probably about 20 miles from Monterey, right there on the coast. It was in the mid to high 70s. It was good. It was comfortable, and I think and the way that's why I was running late is because everybody here in the valley where I live, everybody was heading toward the beach, which I don't blame them. And it's only a 2-lane highway each way, and you got everybody and their brother going out there. It's ridiculous. It was nuts.
All right, let's get in it. We've got topics here because Rickman sent them over this week.
What's on the topic?
What is on the topic tonight? What is on the topic docket? Well, I'll tell you where we can start.
What dude? Where to begin? It seems like everything just like started picking up like out of nowhere. Within like the past week since Reno, everything's been kind of like mellow jello. Yeah. And then today at the state race, like we were on the phone line. The first time ever I've seen a DQ for a rider being intoxicated.
Okay, walk us through that because we were testing out the all request Purple Chamber of Gold love line there and before the show, so the rest of the viewers didn't. They might not know what we're talking about. So you're up at Manzanita today, and you got a rider DQ'd today, correct?
Yeah, and it was a boat ride and everything where they were all gonna go to the show, and it was a solo accident. All right, rider wrecked, and Manzanita is an old school NBL track downhill. It's pretty gnarly. If you don't respect it, it'll reach out and touch you in a way you don't want to be touched. I've seen guys get broke off really bad there.
Like a drunk uncle at a family reunion.
This was like Caddyshack or National Lampoon.
Even better.
And stuff. And so solo wreck, no one thought nothing of it. Okay, homeboy ended up shaking out the cobwebs. He was cool, and then there was a rider came to the finish line and complained and said, hey man, we were in the stage and he could kind of smell it on his breath. He was kind of bragging about it, saying, oh, I've been drinking all day, this, that, the other. Now this is all feedback of
how old's the class?
The
Are you like 20-year-olds, 30, 40?
No, I want to say it was probably like the 41, 45 novice, 46, 50 novice, intermediate class there, give or take. And was like, I'm sitting there like, I got Roy Balls over there, Nick Valencia's there, we got a whole bunch of BMX characters over here. And it's like looking around and you kind of like look at each other, you do that like that one eye thing, like, huh, all right. I mean, dude's freaking wasted and he's still racing. It's like, usually that happens after you get motoed, And the staff was very dealing with some questions, and I think like a little makeshift kind of, which, I mean, hats off to the staff for making that happen, and hats off to the rider to bringing that to everybody's attention on that, because that's a big thing. Everybody, we all know the sport's already dangerous enough as it is, and then you got something like that take place. It's like, man, dude, that's kind of crazy. That's kind of ballsy. You know what I mean?
This wasn't the guy that fell though, right?
No, it was the dude that fell.
He fell. Okay, and then that was what prompted.
He fell. Yeah, it was a boat ride. He fell by himself, and we checked on him. Okay, everything was cool. Kind of let it go, and then it was like a handful of minutes later.
Okay.
Then a rider from that moto came and said, "Hey, I know it was a boat ride, and I don't feel comfortable in the gate for mains with this particular rider." And so that's how it all went down.
Coming to your BMX track soon. Portable breathalyzer tests.
Yeah.
You never know, dude. You stick them in your freaking seat post underneath your cool down seat. Then, it's something new. Yeah. So that was the first. I never.
I've never even seen that. I mean, there's probably some guys out there probably with a little buzz, sometimes maybe, but I've never seen anybody that drunk to where they were all over the track and just crashed by themselves. Never seen that.
Yeah, it was pretty gnarly, honestly. It was something, and to experience it the first time was just like, wow, dude, like, really, kind of throws you off for a minute.
Yeah, just the fact that USA BMX actually gave him like a half-ass breathalyzer, or whatever.
Well, yeah, now you got to figure, okay, word probably is going to get back to USA BMX headquarters, and the guy's probably going to get his membership suspended for the rest of the year, or he might get an indefinite thing. I don't know.
Although maybe, they might warn him and say, again, you're out. Who knows? Depends how strict they are on it.
Yeah, I'm not sure, and like a lot of people too that were there at the finish line were like, well, this is a first. It's like there's always that one guy, just like everything was running smooth.
Well, what you guys in the chats? What do you think a suspension ought to be for that? Like 30 days or no suspension? Any for?
I don't know. I mean, do you do USA BMX community service on something like that?
Community service.
You gotta go sweep you gotta go sweep your local track for like 20 hours or something. I don't know.
Dude, that dude. God, Jesus, it doesn't make a good cause for one of the topics I had in the show notes about alcohol sales at tracks. Like, that dude is not helping this at all.
I mean, gonna sneak it in regardless,
there's always that.
I mean, and that could hurt, I think, because it could crack down on the fact that they might start saying no more coolers at the tracks, and that means, even in the lot, they might, who knows? They could maybe start checking cars, see if they got alcohol. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just saying, you never know.
Yeah, it was definitely it was something, to see the look on Roy Ball's face, and then Valencia and Joey and the rest of everybody there at the finish line, with the scores and stuff, and everyone's like, okay, well, we know how to deal with that now. Next time it comes up.
Dude, did they do the white line? Or like, all right, I need you to walk along this white line. Heel the toe.
I was still on the mic, so I was trying to like watch the motos and kind of like look out this way and be like, let's see how this is going down. It's like one of those things you just kind of want to take your cell phone and kind of do one of those nonchalant, like, I gotta get a video of this, dude.
And for you guys joining, we're talking about Rick's race. He just got in. That's why we're a little bit late. But you know what? It's the mixed open. We go when we go.
The mixed open.
We're talking evidently up at Manzanita today. They had an operating while under the influence on the track racing, and he took a dirt nap, and they gave him a roadside on the next to the track, and he failed, and they didn't let him finish the race. So we got some people joining in real quick. I'll run through. Alex McDonald, thanks for joining. Brooke Gomez.
Hey, Alex is there, actually. Alex is one of my homies. He's over there. He's camped out at freaking. He tried to get me to stay. I'm like, dude, I got to get home, dude. We got a show to do. Tune in, Alex. Come on, bro.
There he is.
He's a bad influence, Alex is. He is.
Mike Mitchum.
Drink. He's crazy.
Mike Mitchum's in. Jim Bosco. Jim Bosco just said, how do you show you have a drinking problem without showing you have a drinking problem? Matthew, I'm going to slaughter this name. Cravenho, he says Nick is just happy to score again.
Cavino, that's another dude. That's my dude. Jammin' Jax is his son.
And then George Vixen, William Prince from Florida's in. Jeff Sunseri's in. I think I got that right. I'm not sure. Hey, man, you guys jump in. You got questions. You got topics you want to talk about. That's what we do on the show. You bring them in. We're going to open up the phone line here so you can call in. You can talk shit, whatever you guys want to do. Well, we're just gonna put a fork in the idea of alcohol sales at the local tracks, because it's situations like that like literally ruin even the idea of talking about it.
Well, it's not fair if not everybody else is drinking too, I guess. I don't know. I mean, if other 5 riders were drinking, then it's fair game. Then you got to race. Okay, that's cool. You got to make it. It's got to be even across the board.
Talk about a pile up in the first turn.
Yeah, one dude's hogging all the fun and everybody else is sober. I mean,
well, if there would have been, if the alcohol would have been evenly distributed amongst the racers in that class, we wouldn't have had just one guy.
Can't go have somebody shotgunning beers and everybody else is taking shots. That's just unfair, dude.
You can't do that. Cool. No, you can't.
It's unheard of.
And I don't see anything wrong with shotgunning a beer for a main event at a national here or there.
Sometimes you get just stressed out, man. It's like, shit, I got
jitters off.
Give me a Coors Latte, dude. Hurry up.
Give me a piss warm one in Florida, not 100-degree weather.
Yeah, give me a Coors Latte and a freaking danger snack, dude. I need to get over this freaking hump, bro. I'm struggling.
I'm either going to snap the shit out of this gate or go right over it, one way or another.
Yeah, or shit my pants. I don't know. One of them.
Hopefully it's raining hard enough no one notices.
Exactly.
Hey, you never know. You make it crazy enough out there, BMX might make, get back on ESPN or something. You might see some crazy shit.
Hey, anything's possible.
Not going to lie, 1 year industry night at Ray's, we had beer, the hell's it called? Where, and you run track and field, you hand the little baton off to the next person, whatever that's called. Relay. We had beer relay at Ray's.
Yeah.
We had a beer relay race at Ray's.
Now that would just be fun. That'd be like having a fat bike race. You might as well do it on fat bikes with adults and make it a game.
It was a good time, and people were going all out, and you had a bunch of people from the BMX industry hanging out, racing, relay beer, shotgun, and you had to shotgun them, and they were so ice cold too. What's up, Mike Miranda? Happy you're here. We're gonna, you know what? So
Mike, man, hey, they had a heck of a show this last Sunday. That was a good one. The East meets the West, and they had a little controversy going on. If you listen to EC and in the beginning part of that one, that's good. I like that. That was a good episode.
And we could call him, get some details on it if you want. Mike, give me a call on my phone. Let's get you on. Hey, while he's doing that, so you and I have talked about this, and I know Nick's been part of this too, because this has been an ongoing topic for many years. And this is the idea of having alcohol sales, not talking about doing shots of Jack Daniels and whatnot, but like having the ability to sell beer at your local track. And you remember, Nick, I think it's like maybe it was the last year that the Rail to Berm show was going on. Tim Knipe had a big thing on it out of Texas talking about it. And it got me thinking about, I was watching some of the races, like you have Reno and Vegas and some of the areas that they sell, the arena actually sells the beer. And got me thinking, for those that don't know, I owned a bar for 7 years. Like, man, you could just sell draft beer at a race and make a lot of money for the track.
I mean, I have to admit, going to Vegas, and I mean, everyone here has been there. You know, you go to Vegas or any of those, and they sell beer there. But like I said, like Rick was saying, all those times in Vegas, I've never seen a dude get up there like Rick did, blast it out of his mind, and take a dirt nap from being drunk. I mean, and you got all the alcohol in the world there. So either the guys that get
exactly, exactly, Nick. The times being there at Vegas, I mean, and the bar overlook. I mean, dude, you couldn't ask for a better venue once you get motoed to go watch racing.
You know, we're all going out having a few and then, you know, doing something. I mean, I never drink to get smashed. You know, I have a few, you know, and go back to the room and crash. But it's like, even guys that did, and they knew they were totally drunk, just didn't show up. You had either a boat ride race sometimes because someone just didn't show up because they were like still sleeping or something. So it was
right.
But yeah, never seen that. I mean, so for Rick to see that, that's a first. I mean, crazy.
Wait, you know, Nick, you were in Reno, right?
I didn't go to Reno, no.
Oh, you didn't go to Reno? Okay, I thought I had seen you, but so okay, so you're talking about alcohol sales. Let me tell you about this shit show. Right? So we're in Reno, okay? We haven't been there for 6-7 years. Okay, dude, Reno, the livestock event center, dude, it's always a good time. They put on a great track. Okay, well, supposedly the venue is under a new event management group that I guess hasn't experience of BMX racing or whatever the case may be. I don't know. I know they had rodeos and stuff, a rodeo going on the week before. Well, on Friday, they ran out of food in the snack bar, and like they only had French fries and hot dogs.
Yeah, I heard
they
about
didn't
that.
have much. They weren't even open in the morning time or anything. They ran out of food. So what the hell did they do? They opened up the bar on the far end. So it's like if the guys can't eat, they're at least going to drink.
Wait, this was their answer to running out of food, was opening a bar?
Have a beer.
Apparently so. And the thing was, you know, you couldn't, you know, it was on the flyer saying, hey, dude, no outside coolers or whatever. So people were abiding by it. But then it took forever for them to go and open up the snack bar, the concessions, you know, because like I got there hecka early to go set up and stuff. So I was hoping they would have been open for breakfast or something, but they weren't. And then, yeah, dude, it was like they were open for a little bit. Next thing you know, they're out of food, but the bar at the far end was open. You know, Saturday they ran out twice. They ran out of food twice, you know, but they had more than just hot dogs and fries. They actually added chicken strips to it. So,
and here's the funny thing. You know you're having a big event there with all these riders. How do you not have enough food? I mean, if they've been there before and know this, how would they not think, oh, shit, there's going to be like, you know, 600, 700 racers there. How come?
Well, yeah, and that was like the thing, too. There was a lot of BMXers there locally from the Reno area that were there for the rodeo. And they're like, dude, they had a hell of a lot more on the menu last week than what they got right now. You know, this is ridiculous. Like, what the hell? I'm like, dude, I don't know, man. I'm from California, dude. I'm from 3 hours away. I have no idea. You know, they used to have the pulled pork parfait, dude, there where it was like, it was pulled pork, mashed potatoes, corn, and gravy in a cup, kind of like the fruit things. And they, dude, that stuff was banging. Everybody was looking forward to it. Dude wasn't there. It was like, where's the parfait, dude? I'm like, man, I have no idea. You know?
Crazy.
But the bar sales were freaking through the roof.
Hey.
And bringing food. When the food ran out, I don't know. I want to say it was Nick Valencia. I could be wrong. Because I saw some posts on Facebook, but they went out and got pizza for their guys to eat or something. And it was like, because at first they weren't allowing any food outside in the building, but once the food ran out, they lifted that and let people go out and bring food in.
Yeah, and they did. They lifted it, but then by then it was already too late. You're in the middle of racing, so for parents to try and leave to go get food while their kids are in the middle of rounds or semis or quarters or whatever, they're coming up, it was like, a lot of them couldn't leave, at that time. So it was like, here's some crackers. What do we got for snacks? Just
whiskey. Take
a handful, put some in your pocket, and munch on them.
You got whiskey, and you didn't run out of that. Actually, George just said, Gmo said there was a power outage the prior day, and the vendors lost most of their food supply, so that's why they were running short. I don't think you can DoorDash like a Gordon's trailer. I don't think you're going to DoorDash that much.
It was definitely weird because supposedly too, now this is hearsay. This is what I heard, throughout the weekend, was that the air conditioning was working fine the week before during the rodeo, and then it crapped out the Saturday before, and they weren't able to get it fixed, and then they put in the swamp coolers and stuff and inside the venue to try and keep everybody cool. And it was like mid-90s outside, man. It was like somebody left the freaking porta potty 6 doors open over in Rockford over there. It was sticky,
Well,
it was definitely, it was weird, but it was still fun to be back in Reno. The racing was kick ass. I mean, they were just under 300 motos, the 2 or 3 nationals before that, I want to say they were just under 200 or a little bit above 200. And then to be in the 290s on the Friday, and I think they dropped 1 moto on the Saturday. The rider count in the motos were pretty legit, dude. It was a good freaking national, man.
Well, that's how Vegas used to be. Vegas was always 300 plus. I mean, always, especially in the first year. They're always. I love Vegas. I'm still upset that they lost that. I mean, I heard that it happened a few times and they come back. So you never know. They might come back, and I really hope they do, because Vegas was my favorite national of all the nationals.
I had a lot of fun at
Vegas.
Vegas
was a lot of
cool.
Fun. Vegas was fun, but I don't know if it was 2 nationals a year cool. I don't know. I mean, because I've done good. I've done good and bad at Vegas, and it's always a good time. But like racing wise, I don't know. It's kind of,
as long as they changed up the track. They used to change the track up. They would do that big sweep one way and then go the other way, or they would do the regular style. So you always wonder, like, oh, what's the next track going to be? So it made it kind of fun because it was different. So
when they started doing the big sweeper turn out of one that followed the backside, that was a big game changer. That was really cool. That made it really racing.
I love that. That was the best thing. It was a great haul ass all around that thing, man. You pick up so much speed and come flying into that second turn straightaway.
Yeah, it was like another straightaway.
Yeah. It was awesome. I miss it. That's what I'm saying. It was that. Going to Vegas was fun for me. That was my favorite one. 2 times a year. I don't hit a lot of nationals. I mean, I drive only the close ones, but and Reno just was too far for me. 12-hour drive. No, that's like going to Oklahoma for grands. If I'm going to spend that kind of money, I'll just save it for grands. I'm not doing that. Yeah. Taking a week time off and hiking 12-hour drive just to Reno. No way.
We have I think it's Peter Appleman. You bring up a really good point. He says we should have 1 in Vegas and 1 in Reno, which Nick, we hung out when we were in Vegas, and I would go to Vegas once a year for sure. I'd mark it, circle it, might even make it the only national to go to. I can agree with having one in Reno, one in Vegas.
And the Reno one is pretty much like Vegas too. It's real easy to fly in and out of too. If you're coming from the Midwest, Mid-East, or the East Coast or whatever, the airport is only 10 minutes away. Kind of like how Vegas is. The airport's right there. You could Uber, taxi, do whatever you got to do. And the hotels are all fairly close. So that's where it's good. I can't remember when they started doing it, because it used to be Reno twice a year, and then they did split it to Reno and then Vegas. And then everybody was like, oh, sweet, that's cool. But then it was like, oh, crap, when they lost the Reno venue, then it was like, okay, we're going to Vegas twice. And people were like, okay, you know, one cool, twice, you know, just because of the distance, you know, you're pulling 20-second laps and you're probably pedaling 10 times through the whole track, you know, that. And in the beginning part, it was cool back, you know, Nick, when they used to have the turns pushed up to the stands, but then it was just I think 3-4 years ago, because the guys getting put over the turns and ending up in the seats, you know, they had to pull the turns off, and then it really shortened up the track. You know, that was really only the setback that it did in for Vegas, you know, because when you got to pull the corners back, you know, it's already small enough, and then having to do that, you know.
Hey, we got our first phone caller. You guys ready?
Oh, baby, here we go.
Oh, man. Mike?
Oh, man.
The Hollywoodster's on the phone line. What's happening, man?
Why don't you have BMX races in Vegas and Reno? I'll give you 5 reasons. Hookers, blow, and jail. That's 5 reasons. And Reno is just Vegas with a coupon. Go on.
Reno's Vegas.
Man, fantastic. Hey, fellas, how you guys doing?
I hope so.
Hey, man, we're doing great. How are you doing?
Fat and sassy, living the life.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. It's the only way to live, my friend. I heard the show.
So, Mike, aren't you're up in Prescott, right?
Yes, sir. Prescott, live in Prescott Valley. If you're anywhere outside of Prescott, you pronounce it Prescott.
I'm down the Phoenix area.
But if you live here, it's Prescott.
What was the temp by you?
Today we got over 100 today, but we're not like down the valley. You know, I think it was 155 in Phoenix today.
Jesus.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Oh man. Yeah, it was a hot one today. It was a record setter today, but not nearly as bad as it. You know, we're an hour and a half. We're always at least 10 degrees cooler than Phoenix.
Yeah.
So
just wanted to know what your
take that back. We're a hell of a lot cooler than Phoenix.
When I checked my phone temp driving this morning, like afternoon, it was 117 degrees. Like, holy shit.
Oh my good gravy. Wow.
Hey, it was Gmo just said it was 118 in Phoenix today.
Yeah, 17, 18, whatever. Well, at least when I looked, it was 17.
Yeah, I seen that earlier today. I was like, dude, I didn't know the thermometer went that high.
What do you?
Well, listen, I went to Black Mountain on Monday night to check out practice, and I could not believe how many people. It was at night, and it was well over 100 degrees, and the place was packed.
That's how Chandler is too. I race on Mondays at Chandler, and 30 motos. I mean, everybody's at 115 degrees. We're all like looking at each other. We must be a little mental to get on our bikes, throw gear on, and race in this heat. Because I don't know how we do it, but
yeah, we do that shit during the week too. It's ridiculous. I don't know why we're so stupid. I don't understand.
I almost passed out twice. The first time was I went into the porta-john to take a leak, and I was baking in there. And the second time I went to snack bar.
Your pecker?
The second time I was in snack bar and I saw Clayton John wearing shorts. So damn near fell over, passed out right there. That just isn't right.
Oopsie.
I don't know, but I didn't know if those were his legs or
did you hold that thought with your right hand or your left hand?
Oh, jeez.
Oh, I was loving it.
Mike, we always love having you on. Hey, you know what? I wanted to ask, because we haven't had a chance to really chit chat. How was kind of give us a recap? How'd everything go with Dirty Fest?
Oh my gosh, it was fantastic. You talk about selling beer at races.
Yes.
Oh, man, it was flowing like Gatorade. It was great. Had a great time at the races. We had just under 1,000 people there. Everyone had a great time. It was more of a festival, a homecoming, than it was a race. Great to see everybody having a good time, and we can't wait to do it again. I'll tell you one thing. I thought I could drink until I started watching those freestyle guys. Mike Dominguez, Xavier Mendez, Brian Blyther. They didn't race, and they couldn't have raced. Whew, they were putting it down.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we had a great time. It's looking forward to doing it again. It'll happen again at the end of April next year, and we look forward to having all y'all out.
Melissa and I got it circled on the calendar, man. We were shopping the cabins there in the back of the place or something like that.
Yep. Well, they're building more cabins, and and once we release the date, we will have we'll let it'll be a free for all to get those cabins. But they're upping the number of cabins they're going to have this year.
Nice.
So it's going to be, and we're trying to work out a deal with the local with one of the local casinos that has a hotel. So we're trying to make it even more fun for everybody. But we had a blast. So encourage everyone to come out this year and just enjoy themselves. Whether you race or not, doesn't matter, but come out and enjoy yourself. And before then, hey, little announcement. I'm the co-track operator at our local BMX track that was built in the fall, Wheelhouse BMX in Prescott Valley. So if you find yourself in northern Arizona with nothing to do on a Thursday night for practice or every other Sunday, come on out. Come out and race. Have a good time.
All right.
Yeah, I've been seeing the Facebook post and having there, Mike. Dude, you got a good little freaking venue going on, man. That's good. It looks real homey. It looks racy and stuff. It looks in real good freaking riding too, bro.
Thanks, brother, man. We've been working on, it's about a daily thing, right? 6 a.m. out there watering before my day starts. Just myself and my partner, Gary Sharp, we're just working on that thing, trying to build something here in the community and give back to the sport. And we're really enjoying the hard work, really enjoying it.
That's cool.
And it's Wheelhouse?
Wheelhouse BMX in Prescott Valley, Arizona.
Gotcha. All right, I'm gonna put.
Yeah, I gotta get up there and run that and race over there. It's a little bit of a drive for me, but I'll be up there.
Well, when it's 100 and whatever, 100, what'd you say it was, 165? When it's 175 down there, come on up.
Yeah, enough to. You could actually, honestly, you could cook an egg on the concrete. You just crack it open; it'll boil and everything. You can make it and eat it.
I'm sorry, down there it's called huevos.
But I'll say one thing. I'm from Chicago originally. I'd rather sweat in this than freeze in -10 below. I'll tell you that right now.
Oh, amen. Amen.
Now, I know Justin, he lives in Michigan, so he deals with that cold weather. So,
God, I lucked out of it this past winter, so it's going to punch me right in the face this winter. But, yeah, exactly.
They're going to get you. They're going to sneak
I
up on
remember
you, bro.
listening to
You better watch your
one
back.
episode of All Things BMX, and they were talking about winterizing the track. And, man, I just had no idea what the hell they were talking about. What do you mean you winterize the track?
Yeah.
And then the work you have to do in the spring to start it up again. I was like, oh, it dawned on me. I'm probably going to have to do that here because we get snow.
Yes, you will.
I was just going to ask you, like, how do you know what your schedule is going to be like? Are you going to have to close the track at a certain time, like in winter?
I'll let you know. We're figuring it out 1 month at a time right now.
Yeah.
So we've held 5 races so far. So we're just getting going and we're learning. That's why I'm traveling to other tracks. I'll be at Yucaipa tomorrow for the memorial race, and then every time I get to go to another track, I learn something new.
Cool.
I do absolutely love how every other TO is just they're a wealth of information and they have no problem sharing it with you, man. Everyone's been a big help. It's like it seems like BMX is still just a big family, and I love it.
Mm-hmm. What else we got, guys?
Hold on, let me tell you one more thing. There's a few other things I've noticed since I've been going to the BMX tracks. Some things have changed and some things haven't. I notice everybody carries their bike between their motos. I've never seen that before.
That's only if they've got thorns, like some of the tracks out here.
No.
What's the deal?
Yeah. I'll let Mike continue.
Well, they carry their bikes like they're their lunch pails.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed that, but parents are still drinking in the parking lot. I noticed that. I love that. Let's see, what else? I don't know who stole everybody's seat post, but there ain't no seat posts anymore. And now that I'm older, these poor scorekeepers, I don't know how they read those tiny little numbers on those tiny little plates.
Dude.
Dude, try announcing those little pieces of shit.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
We need these. This is what you're supposed to run.
Look at that.
Yeah. What happened to 09 and crit plate and horror with these giant numbers, man? That's what we need back in the sport for these poor scorers.
What is it? The regulations like 3. They say like regulations like 3 inches. Like good luck trying to announce that when you're anywhere elevated up in the air. You can't see shit.
Oh no, it's not at Prescott Valley. We just say, hey, it's a dude on the orange bike in the lead.
Good enough.
Oh yeah, loving it. Loving going back out to the track and visiting other tracks now. It's a blast.
Throwback bomber plates.
Yeah, bomber plates. Exactly right.
What else? Anything else you've noticed since you've been back?
Like 90s.
Let's see. Heck yeah. I noticed that it seems to me like last names are getting harder to pronounce. Poor Chris Beer. I don't know how he does it.
I don't know either. That poor guy. I got a quick story. I got a quick story for you though about Chris. So Damon and I DJ'd his company's Christmas party, and he's like, we do this thing by how long people have been here, and we announce their names. And I looked at Damon, and I'm like, oh, I'm getting front row for this because they're a very international company. So I'm like, Damon, we're going to pick the DJ booth up and go right out there so we can just firsthand this. Some of the hardest names you're ever going to hear. And the dude just nailed them. And it's not because he necessarily announced them every day or anything. That's just it. He just nailed them. We looked at each other. We're like, he'll screw up the last name Vic, but he can pronounce this kid that's there on a passport or whatever you call it, a visa or something that has no vowels in his last name at all.
Well, I tell you what, man, the birthday names are my favorite part of the show. I love it. I crack up every single time. Oh man,
got to bring back the birthdays.
There's the other thing I noticed about the tracks is they're perfectly smooth.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot of bumping and grinding and pushing and shoving. I also noticed
that's in the porta potty.
Man, I got to tell you this. I was out there on Monday at Black Mountain, and there was a young lady. Young to me, young lady out there practicing, and I could not. She was probably in her 20s. I don't know who she is, but I was so impressed about how fast she was, how strong she was, and how good she could jump. And I was like, holy Hannah, I'm glad I didn't bring my bike. I'd have been shamed out there. Fantastic. I also noticed that the snack bars, the menu hasn't changed much. It's still candy.
It may be a walking taco.
Yeah.
Maybe from the concession stand, maybe not.
Oh man, I tell you what.
Like if you can catch it, you can eat it.
Oh, fellas, well, listen, I love the show. Where's Big Mike at?
He's at home. I'm in the garage. I'm at my house.
Yeah, where's Mike?
Well, no, he's at his house. That's where the studio's at. I came straight home.
I know, but I'm asking why is he not on the show?
Oh, because he was running home. He had his nephew and everything. We got all separated. Everybody took different cars and all that crap.
Okay.
And plus, we also mix up the hosts. So like 1 week it could be you. We'll just call you and you'll set in with us as we just open discuss too. So we just kind of make it a round robin of anybody. Yep. Yeah.
Well, me, fellas.
The Beer Budget Show is kind of on waivers right now. I got kind of like rethink the format on it because a lot of people were getting like butt hurt on it. So that's kind of like why Mike and I haven't gone live and stuff. And then I just like last week was Reno, so that was kind of tough because the days were long. And then the week before that, I had my kids' graduation / birthday party and stuff. We were actually supposed to do a mixed open show then, but everything just got crazy and all that stuff. And then I got to move both the kids out next month for college. So whole lot of irons in the fire right there.
Oh man, tell me about it, brother. As you guys know, the hardest thing about doing a podcast is finding the time to do the podcast.
Yep.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. And then, you end up freaking ruffling a couple feathers, and then next thing you know, you're under the gun for something like you didn't do. And it's like, whoa, hold on. Like, sorry.
Well,
like,
that sounds to me like you care.
well, yeah, it's like, you get people are getting like, dude, you freaking like hella bashed us. And it's like, well, no, I didn't bash you. It's an open forum. I've said it for the past 3 years. Justin knows. Hollywood. Nick. I know you probably tuned in. Where it's like I don't say no names on who sends stuff in. And it's a pretty much a agree to disagree thing. There's really like no right or wrong. And I've kept it that way and stuff because the reason being is that being in the sport enough years and the way some of the tracks, not all. If you show concern, you question something, or you have an issue, whether it be like you could be there for X amount of years, and then you question something and you have a problem and you bring it to their attention. Next thing you know, down the road, it's like there's freaking rebuttal against a kid or a parent, or the repercussions, or the team that particular rider rides for. And then next thing you know, shit gets thrown out the window, and then it's a big old freaking hoopla, So that's why I was like, I'm not saying no names, dude. These are like concerned BMXers using the show as a voice, and a lot of people, not a lot, I mean a handful, but we do have a lot of people here where I'm at, as far as tracks and stuff. But yeah, so that it was kind of a big thing. So trying to rethink everything, and talking with a lot of my locals, parents and riders and stuff, and a lot of them are like, dude, just keep doing what you're doing, screw them. If they don't like it, they don't got to tune in. I'm like, yeah, true.
Preach, brother.
But then I kind of go back and look at some shows, and maybe there is some stuff like I could tune up and change and have a different approach, in that nature too. But so how it is, you can't please everybody, how it is.
Well, I'm just still trying to please my wife.
I'm
just trying to do that. If I can get that done, I'm doing all right.
Oh, Mike.
Fellas, I enjoy both your shows. Love them very much. Tune in every time I can. If I can't tune in,
love you too, Mike.
Tune in. I listen to it the next day. And Justin, I want to tell you this: I've really enjoyed the last 2 shows, and Greg was hilarious, loving it. And listen, fellas, nothing but the best of luck to all of you. Love you, my brothers.
Take care. Good talking to you,
Mike.
Good hearing from you.
That was the legend himself, Mike Hollywood Miranda, just calling in to the
guy,
Mixed Open
man,
Show.
myth.
The legend right there. He brought up a few things, kind of left some nuggets sitting there, Rick, and some of these we had talked about possibly making a topic here, and he said the tracks. And good Lord, your question that we put up for the All Things BMX Show chat question: should all tracks be dirt because the Grand's track's dirt? Holy shit, did that take off, Rick?
Holy Christ, bro.
It took off. Hang on.
Yeah.
It took off on when you shared it, and then on our page, like, I don't know, last time I looked, it was like a 90 comments or something. So, good question. And there was some very good comments in there. A lot of just silly things, but a very, very good question, and kudos to Rick for coming up with it, because I was stumped right before the show. But let's get in this, and if you guys got something you want to say, put it in the chat. Hey, Gate 9, thanks for joining. Richard Hartman, thanks for getting in there. Brooke Gomez, Ashley Box for joining us. Mark Bruno, Lorenda Anderson,
girls right there, baby,
and Len Novak. We appreciate you guys for jumping in here. And if you guys, we're going to talk a little bit about this topic right here about the tracks. And we went on the thing on the show with Greg about some of the Supercross. We're just going to kind of talk about the tracks and some of the comments that stemmed from that question. So here's when what you texted? It was Wednesday, right? It was before the show. I was stumped on
it. It was right before the show, yeah.
Yeah. So.
And stuff. And what brought it up is actually it happened in Reno last weekend. Okay, so okay, the Reno track wasn't the smoothest of any of the past indoor built tracks that we've had, whether it be Vegas, Oregon, Louisiana, and all that stuff. They had, now going off of what I was told, so don't fry my ass, was when they were taking the dirt out of the rodeo arena, all the good dirt that was on top that was dry ended up on the bottom, and as they kept taking dirt out, they ended up getting to the stuff that had 5 months worth of snow over it because of the crazy winters that we had over here on the West Coast and stuff. And so it didn't really set right. You know, it didn't really get exactly smooth. You know, it was real chattery, especially in the corners and stuff, which usually doesn't happen till about late Saturdays and Sundays and stuff. Which, okay, hey, you know, shit happens. Okay, cool. So aside from all that, I'm sitting in the stands. I'm watching, you know, the intermediates or experts, the younger motos, and I'm sitting there, and because I got a handful of kids that I train that were there, and this dad just like pipes off out of nowhere, where it's like, oh yeah, because the lead rider went down. He ended up crashing. He wiped out by himself, and was like just talking a gang of shit where it's like, oh yeah, dude, got to learn how to ride dirt before you can go fast or some crap like that. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, well, dude, I mean, do you not pay attention to anything else for BMX? Do you know where this kid's from? Do you like, maybe he doesn't have a all dirt track as a local or close by, you know, maybe his track is soil, tack, and asphalt, and he just doesn't know. You know, and you're gonna go badmouth him, dude. I'm like, what age group's your kid? How good is your kid? What's he do? You got a nag plate or what? I'm like, dude, that's totally wrong. That's messed up. You know, there's only a handful of all dirt tracks on the circuit throughout the states. You know, whether it be dirt straightaways, asphalt turns, or asphalt turns, slurry soil tack straightaways. It's like, maybe, and I'm not just saying the one kid. There's probably a lot of kids. There's probably a lot of adult riders, older teenagers that have probably never touched dirt because of depending on when and where they started or what their local is. It's no fault of them. You know, they don't know. You know? So that's where I'm like, okay, Grant. And I was sitting there. I'm like, man, that guy was a dick. You know, I was pretty pissed. And then thinking like, well, Grants is always dirt, you know. Should all the freaking nationals be on dirt?
All right. Let's.
You know,
okay, wait. What do you think, Nick?
You know, I've only ridden I think the only track I ever rode with slurry on. I don't know what you guys are going. Are you going with slurry, or are you going like with tricks that are concrete with berms? What are we talking about? Like, is it
dirt?
I get it strictly all dirt. Me being an old school rider from the 80s, I honestly don't give a shit what the track looks like. It's BMX to me. I just get out and ride it. I don't care. It's like, everyone's got to ride it. If a kid, let's say back in today, came back to the 80s and saw the tracks I had to ride on, they would have a heart attack. They'd be like, no way in hell. I rode tracks you know, I'm just saying, but if we're talking slurry, I never raced on any tracks with slurry besides Chula Vista. And I don't know, it didn't feel any different. I didn't have any issues with it. It was sticky a little, like I could hug the turns and carve a little better. But other than that, dirt didn't do any different. I mean, I didn't feel it. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of a hard question because it's like, I don't know. I mean,
I've thought about it since Rick brought it up to me, was about this person saying that, and the idea of like, should the tracks all be, you know, should the national tracks all be dirt, because we go to the Grand National track and it's all dirt. And I'm like, yeah, there's pros and cons both ways. This was my thought in it, but at the same time, I think I'm echoing what Ringo's saying in the chat, is the track's the same for everyone. And it's kind of like pool, which, you know, I still got to get a rematch with Gate 9 on that. The pool table is the same for everyone when you shoot pool. And before I pass it over to you, Rick, what I was going to say is George just said in the chat that the dirt came from outside the arena. All of the past Reno events, the dirt came from inside. So I just wanted to pass that along. So there was a little difference this year.
Yeah, and you know, and stuff happens. But like you said, it was the same for everybody. You know, I struggled for a little bit on Friday. I didn't make mains. I had to make some adjustments on my tire pressure and everything else. You know, and then ended up making
the dirt softer? Was it softer or something? What was wrong with it?
There were some soft spots. Just because you know, some spots were hard, some spots were soft, you know. Yeah. But it was the same for everybody. It was the same for everybody. No one had an advantage.
Like how Vegas used to be in the mornings on Friday.
Yeah, you know, you just had to make adjustments. You know, and then it was when I heard the dad make that comment, and then it brought me to another kind of topic or question is like, okay, so they made the rule 12 and unders going back to flats can't be clipped in. Okay, that was like 5-6 years ago. Okay, so because to learn more bike skills. So has that rule helped out the bike skills of the younger riders, or is it more learning bike skills? Say if you're clipped in and you're riding fresh dirt, kind of like back in the day, Nick, like what you were saying, okay, because I'm only 45 minutes away from Frogtown and was running clipped in, and no, you got to unclip, get your foot down, or because
I was gonna say that's gotta be
back in the day, back in the day there was no maintenance. You rode whatever the hell it was, where it's like, okay, this side of the track's falling apart, so I need to really push over here and get the sweet spot to make it through. So is the flat pedal rule really helping it, whether they're on flat pedals and soil tack and asphalt, or if they were clipped in and on all dirt?
What do you think, Nick?
Well, on the tracks today, probably not, because one, they're not putting their foot down in a turn like we used to. We didn't have the greatest turns. Everybody, like Mike was just saying, like bumping and all that. That's why you don't see that no more, because what's going to happen if you hit someone? You're clipped in. You're going down. That's why nobody hits and bumps anymore. There's no flat turns anymore because you had to put a foot down to take it. So being on flats, I don't think in today's tracks, they might learn a little bit with the motion in case they go down, they can take their foot off and save their ass. But there's some aspects not there anymore from the 80s. So they're not going to learn putting a foot down in the turn and all that. So to me, I don't know. I can't say it would. You have to ask somebody maybe, hey, did this help you? If they're going to know if it did or not. But from the looks of the way that how majority of the tracks are today, as smooth as they are, they don't put their foots down. So what are they learning? Maybe different with the starting. I remember when I put flats on one time to race, I couldn't get out of the gate because I was so used to clean clipped in, pulling up on that pedal, my foot kept coming off. So I had to relearn again to take off on a flat pedal.
Yeah,
but it was
it took a little exactly.
Yeah. But
you know,
if they do that and go back to clips, they're not going to go back to flats.
Yeah, and when they first implemented the rule, there was a lot of kids, local factory rider profile, Rowdy Holzer, he was one of them, where when he went to flats, he struggled a lot because of being on clips for so long. His leg speed was just astronomical. His leg speed right now is still just nuts. I love talking shit to that kid. The kid is a phenom, and he wasn't the only one. There was a lot of other kids too that had been on clips for so long, and they had that leg speed that once they went to flats, they were falling, they were crashing, they were throwing a foot off.
I only think USA BMX did it because I think for safety with crashes. I think they felt like the kids need to learn to take a foot off and not. That's what I think they went that route for. And then, but who knows? I don't know.
We got a good point brought up too. Is George brings up, the turns compared to what we're talking about, putting our foot down back. Well, you guys putting your Nick back down in the 80s. The turns are like 3 times as tall now.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I won't lie. When I'm announcing a race and somebody comes in, they're taking that low, and they got the foot out, and they're coming in, and it's like the 41 and over novice class or whatever. Like, oh, I'm not gonna lie, I'm peeking that microphone out, man, because it's a fun thing.
Oh yeah, hey, you knew when you loaded in the gate, bro. you knew, and the other thing too, that was big that I noticed when it first started. Not so much now, was depending on the tracks and where you were at, was on how their asphalt or slurry or whatever, how much grip was in the turn for them, and they go and haul it off in there, and they go and throw a foot down, and they don't realize how much grip's there. And it pulled them right off the bike.
That is correct.
It's like they didn't really drag it. There was a little bit too much pressure on that inside foot, and as soon as it freaking hit the stuff, man, boy, there we go.
I mean, I can see putting a foot down on an all dirt turn because you're going to slide your foot and balance, and it slides. Right. You hit concrete or something like that, your shoe's probably going to grab and going to throw you all off, and you're going to go down. So
when you would do the, these pictures, I see the guys with their foot out sliding in the turn. Was your bike sliding too?
Sometimes not.
Okay.
It was more when you put your foot down into a turn, it was take the inside. Hopefully they pass the guy on the outside. But if you knew you put your foot down to get that low, but at the same time, you had a good chance you were going to hit him. So it was to protect yourself from going down, too. So if you bumped the guy to knock him back, you stood up while the other guy let him put his foot down and get swirled out, and you get the lead.
Okay.
But sometimes you wouldn't hit, but you just did that for balance control so you can get through the turn, and especially on flat turns. Those were the funnest because it changed the lineup every time. Because somebody would go on the very inside and just have enough momentum to get around the guy on the outside and get past him and with the foot down. And Rockford used to be that way back because that's Illinois being my home state. But Rockford was that way back in the 80s and 90s. They had a flat turn at the last turn. It was flat. And you did that.
Yeah, and that's one thing you don't see. You don't see that anymore is a track with a super flat turn to really get the characteristics of a BMX track. A real short berm. Something where you got to lay up a pedal or drag the brakes or put a foot down, where it's like you really got to think. It's almost like, okay, another good question here, Justin, would be like, okay, you're able to go wide open in turn one, you're going down the second straightaway, turn two is like real tight. What do you do? Because you can't go wide open. Do you drag the brake going in while you're through the corner? Or do you lay up a pedal before you enter? That way you can kind of carry your speed a little bit better, kind of the whole go slower to go faster kind of thing. That's where it's like it gets real tricky right there.
Well, so what was your feed was cutting in and out a little. Are you still there? We might have lost him. All right.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. No, you're locked up on the screen right now.
Yeah, we don't. You're not moving.
Don't take your time. While you're doing that, I'll just read through real quick. Mike Herman says, part of I'm referring to the flat rules. He said that it's because of the Racing the Worlds and UCI rules. USA BMXers needed to be on flats like the rest of the world, so that's part of the push on getting the 12 and under in there. And then Chris Karen says, don't tighten clips all the way down. Part of the problem is dads don't understand setting up clips. They just crank them down and tell their kids to get out of them. As long as you maintain the cleats, they will set correctly and you won't pull the cleat out. Good point. Injuries on, let's see, 13. They're all getting into a lot of power and they're riding hard. Oh, somebody had asked previously, sorry, why is 13 like kind of the cutoff line? And some people are saying 13 is where your kids start getting a lot of power. That's a personal opinion. These are all personal opinions. No one's right or wrong. It's like an asshole. Everybody's got one. That's why we do the mixed open show, okay? If you get offended, go find another show to watch, all right? That's what we say.
Yeah. No, exactly. Yeah, that's the best part about it.
We're not going to fix BMX. We're just going to talk some BMX and shoot the shit. That's what we do on the Mixed Open Show.
That's all we do. You know, that pretty much, you know, just, hey, run with your brung. You know, that's all we're doing, you know.
I'd tell you, here over the winter, I had to start riding. I had to start back riding the flats from when I rolled my ankle so bad last summer.
Yeah.
And talk about a, like you said, Nick, I think the first time I loaded in the gate, I scorpion kicked myself in the back of the head, which two things. One, I didn't think I was that flexible. And two, I'm like, dang, I think I was like, did I just, like, it was like the Zohan, did I just kick myself? Was that a foot? Like, my back foot come way up. I'm like, oh, man, this is bad news, bad news. I am, though, now a strong proponent of, like, hey, like, this is for us older guys. Like, mix it up. Take the clips off. Go ride your flats. Then put them back on. And I'm going to tell you what, it's a crazy different feeling. Like, it almost feels like turbo.
I know Richie Anderson really well. And, he's given me some pointers. And I've always asked him for some help, tips on racing, stuff like that. And I'm like, should I practice with flats? He goes, do you race on flats? And
There's a good point.
No. He goes, then why? He goes, just practice with your clip shoes, because that's what you race in. You don't race on flats. It ain't going to do any different if you do your sprints on flats and you get on your clips. It ain't going to change anything. It's not going to change. I mean, you look at his daughter, and she dominates almost every national. He's got to know something. I mean, The guy's won. I mean, the guy won just think of this. The guy won the Grands 25 times.
I don't think I knew that. I don't think I knew that. That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't even know what to say.
I mean, that's just... into the race, let alone this guy. And I'm just saying. But the guy's, he knows his stuff. So it's like, so I just stay on I don't even run with the flats anymore. I mean, if the track required, like, if I were to do, like, what Rick says, do the Frogtown, I'll throw flats on probably for that. You can run clips, but I'm going to want to do it the old school way and maybe put a foot down and have some fun on that, and do it that way. But for regular racing, I'm just going to keep with my clips.
I'm not going to wear them at a pump track, though. I can't.
Well, I don't understand how the hell freaking mountain bikers like doing downhill wear clips doing downhill. I can't. I got to wear flats. There's no way. Can't do it.
That actually seems kind of dangerous, though.
Isn't it got something to do with? I'm trying to remember back. We had Dakota Norton on, and it was. I thought part of that was because they steer.
Dakota's so cool, dude. That dude is so wide open.
I thought he said that part of it is they steer, like with that.
Yeah, they're. It's like you're supposed to be able to, like, because of being locked in, you're able to, like, throw your knees with the frame, and you're helping, like, it's like you're getting that rear steer with the back half of the bike.
Mm-hmm.
Me, not happening, man. No.
I'd be eating it so fast, there'd be no way I'd be doing that. I'd be on the ground.
Yeah, they got shit figured out over there. Downhill, downhill's been a big thing, dude. Especially right now in the beginning part of the season, dude. It's a big one. They're definitely freaking raised the bar on the racing part of it, and that kind of tied in to a lot of things too. Everybody's like, "Oh, dude, why do you share a lot of mountain bike stuff on your page?" Because it's BMX. I'm like, well, a lot of these downhill mountain bike dudes are former BMXers that are just badass. Like, God's honest truth. These guys are just something just special. They're insane.
And they even come back and race BMX too, and they still kick people's asses too.
They don't skip a beat. They're honestly, even with the pro mountain bikers we got over here, these guys will just show up on a Saturday night or a Friday night and just be like, "Hey, what's up, Warren? Nothing. Stuff got changed, so I figured I'd break out the 20." And it's like, okay, go ahead. I'm not even going to get in the gate with you, dude. He's factory Yeti. I'm like, no, I don't think so, dude. You're not going to sucker the old guy.
I'll watch.
Yeah. Because they just do some amazing shit. It's just, it's ungodly. It's crazy.
They can do everything, and they just fly out there like it's no big deal. And you're like, okay.
So, speaking of that, we were going to talk about the Red Bull roof ride on the last show. But you had the open house for the kids.
Dude.
So, Nick, have you saw any of this at all?
No.
Dude, all right. I'll pull up some videos.
It's insane. It's crazy.
And again, there's some guys that have BMX backgrounds. One of the Gozniak brothers, I forget.
The Gozniaks are just one. Don't meet them in a dark alley, okay? They'll kick your ass.
One of them's BMX, one of them's a mountain bike, and like I think they took one of them took first, one of them took third in this thing, and it is absolutely insane. But to the point we were saying, well, we're going to tie this in is the fact that some of these guys are still doing BMX. They still pop back and forth. And it's on another freaking level here. And I'll get it pulled up. We'll get some videos on here real quick. Because, man, I watched the whole... Did you watch it, Rick?
Yeah. I don't even understand how these guys think of these combinations. You know, I told... a while back...
I'm getting it right now.
You know, to one of the freestyle pros here that's 20 minutes away from me, Bryce Tryon. I don't understand how these guys figure out these combinations. I don't understand.
Give me 1 second here because I lost what screen it's on. There it goes. We're good now. And I'll get it up here. So
I might have seen.
First of all, the course alone is absolutely insane. So we're going to cut back here. And we'll just get to the start of one. And we'll watch it here. I'm gonna keep it unmuted so I don't catch a ding on the audio.
Don't want no dings. We know about the dings.
So this is the course, man, and they start up on the roof of a building. They go down the side. This is the lower side, and they're gonna show you the whole thing here in a second. Now he's gonna come off. That right there is 38 feet. I can't even remember how big that was. They said it was basically like jumping a mega ramp.
Yeah, that pretty much.
See, these guys are absolutely just crazy. I mean, it's kick-ass they do this, but it's like there is no way in hell I'd be getting on that thing. I'd be dead in the first jump. There'd be no way. But
there's a lot of guys that, like we were talking here a second ago, that they're BMXers, and they're still coming. Well, I mean, these guys are just freestylers. Obviously, we're probably not going to see them coming out to a BMX racetrack. Yeah. But as we were talking, I remember this was something we were going to talk about. Actually, they had Caroline doing the side interviews, Rick.
Caroline was one of the interviewers.
Yep.
So Caroline Buchanan did this too?
Well, no, there's a oh no, it's the wrong side of the shot. On the other side of the arena, right there, see the small jump line? She had done that was like a expo they did. She actually did the smaller jump line.
Okay.
That was kind of like their thing to bring in more amateurs to check this out, was they had the two jump line, but she was doing the interviewing for it. Just insane. Stuff's insane.
What the hell gives you the idea that you're going to do a kick flip back?
There'd be no way in hell I'd do that shit.
A kick three
crazy
backflip.
I
don't know. I don't get it.
This is the part though. This drop jump, man. Like, fucking, that's so big.
To pick up a shitload of speed though. Look at that shit.
That's this nasty.
I mean, the ramps and everything just overpower them. They look so tiny.
Yeah.
Riding their bike on these big ass ramps is insane.
You know,
and they do it like no big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, look at him. He's like, I'm done. Okay. Anything harder?
Yeah. You got a bigger roof, bro? No, I don't think so.
Do you notice?
They do it like it's not even breaking a sweat.
Do you notice though they're how? Oops. Come on. How it's on a stage too, like the last part of this. So when he gets down to the bottom, you'll see that's just a crazy shot right there. When he gets down to the bottom, those last few jumps, they're elevated up too. So like, you know, there's not a bad spot in the house to watch this thing.
It's nuts.
That's cool.
You know, I don't know.
Cool though that
you know, and like I said, I talked to a couple freestyle guys over here by me. Like, how do you think of what you're gonna do? It's like, well, I gotta like a plan A. If everything goes good, I got this combination. If not, given wherever I'm at, I could always revert back to a bar spin backflip with a something or another. You know, their lingo is just
yeah.
They're probably thinking like as soon as they come up to a jump, they're probably thinking, okay, what am I going to do? Let's try. I got it the speed. I'll do this trick. Boom, and it just probably a quick snap change. You know, when they know their speed, what they can do, and they probably.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's crazy enough just watching the triple challenge that they do on the weekends of motocross, Justin. You know, we've seen it.
Did you see the course? Did you see the
this whole thing right here is ridiculous.
Did you see the X Games course? The nasty.
Yeah, the X Games are like
this year's X Games course. That nasty. He just dropped a thing of him jumping it, and when you were just talking about the mountain bikers looking small, bro. Like he hits the jumps and it looks like you got like a finger bike on like a real BMX track jumping. Like, I'm like, what is? Oh yeah, the X Game dirt jump's gonna be live. That's gonna be crazy.
It's insane.
I'll see if I can pull up anything on that while you guys talk.
Yeah, that stuff is just I don't know. It's nuts. It's third world shit. You know, those guys just. They get it done, again, honestly. It's a big thing.
They're in that no fear stage, 18, 19 years old. You know, they're not worried about crashing. You know, they got no fear in that. So
yeah, you know, they've hit the foam pits, the airbags and stuff now. You know, we didn't have that shit back then. You know, I got the one jump park 2 hours away up in Truckee. You know, they got a huge, it's almost kind of like Barry Noble's one that he has in his backyard. This thing's gigantic, man. This thing's huge, man. And it's like, I don't even know what the hell I would do if I was to go and hit the ramp and I'm over an airbag. It's like, all right, cool.
Why I'm not gonna just there.
Yeah, I'm gonna just try and land it. You know, that way I look cool.
I mean, a regular pump track is one thing, just a pump through, but that stuff, no. I'm 54 years old. There's no way you're getting me out of that crazy shit. I'll have a broken neck in no time.
Well, yeah, the speed, the approach speed. I wish they had the telemetry with all the technology that they got. I would like to see the approach speed of when they're getting ready to hit one of these freaking booters and see what the hell they're carrying when they go and do a double backflip bar spin or whatever. You know, it's amazing.
Look at this. There's the dirt.
I mean, look at that step up. That step up is nasty.
Look at this. Wait. What in the? And these cats are in a few weeks. They're gonna be dropping 1080s, cash rolls. I don't know. I'm not a hip on all the lingo, man. That's gonna be crazy. Look at nasty. He just looks like a little toy out there. That's crazy.
Yeah. It's like an ant.
Yeah. Look at this. That's awesome. So you guys aren't. If you're not following him, make sure you start following him. He's on the build crew for the X Games, and I think he helps with the Triple Crown too.
Yeah, it's all about life choices, man. Follow these dudes, man. It's a good time. We talk about it all the time in the private chat that we got, Justin. You know, it's like, dude, did you see this? It's like, yeah, like, no.
All right,
I don't think so, man.
So let's put a button on the 12 and under flat rule with this. Rick, do you think the 12 and under rule has helped the riders? And now the barometer could be kind of, we could almost take a guess and say like yes, no, and then kind of take a barometer on this after the Worlds, right? So do you feel the 12 and under rule, if we're 3 or 4 years in, whatever it is, you think it's helped the riders? Yes or no?
I don't know. I think honestly, it's stayed the same.
How about you?
I don't think there's been a big change in it. Okay. Honestly.
How about you, Nick?
I think the same way. I think what Rick says. I think there's not much of a change. I mean, if anything, maybe a little bit in the balancing, but I don't with the tracks today. I don't think it's going to change much.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And let's go one more question for you guys. So back to our original question, Nick, should all the national tracks, being that the Grands track is dirt, should they all be dirt? Yes or no?
Again, me not really caring.
That's fine.
I would, to be old school, yes. I would like to see them be just dirt.
Just dirt? Okay.
But
Right.
again, the slurry and I don't see much slurry out here. That's elsewhere. But we have dirt out here, and some of the tracks have concrete berms. Okay, it's okay. Whatever. I'd rather have it be, to be honest, it's supposed to be BMX. Let's keep it BMX.
Okay.
Let's keep it dirt.
All right. How about you, Rick? You think all the tracks should be dirt leading up to the Grand, or all the national tracks?
I think so.
Okay.
On just in just in my opinion, because I mean, you're on the biggest stage of the year, and there's a lot of stuff on the line at Grands.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, to be fair, I mean, unless the Grands is going to be soil tacked and have asphalt turns or whatever, or even just soil tacked, I don't see why not. You're going for the biggest prizes for USA BMX, whether it be a national plate, a NAG plate, amateur plate,
Mm-hmm.
rock plate. There's a lot on the line.
Mm-hmm. Some people are
But
jumping
I will
in.
say this.
Go ahead.
I get why tracks that have a lot of weather issues use the slurry and the concrete berms to help protect the track and keep it. Well, it's less maintenance.
Yeah.
That's why they do.
For sure. Yep. And again, these are opinions, ideas, and I mean,
exactly. There's no right answer.
and that like
really isn't.
George says impossible. Totally get it too, because you got different parts when you're traveling around the country before the Grands. I mean, in a perfect world, you could rewind and reset and be like, you could do it and just say this is what it requires to host the national. That's not really feasible, but it would be fun. But I agree with what you're saying, George. It's kind of impossible because, to Nick's point, I live in an area.
Now,
hang on, let me finish. Like, I live in an area where, in the Midwest, to what Nick was just saying, we put we do pretty much anything, put anything down that will help on maintenance and time, that you got to spend on upkeep and startup. So that would be tough. So that's like, around here in Midwest, you're going to find most turns are asphalted. Toledo's got dirt turns and they spend a lot of work on them, and kudos, tip of the cap to them and their crew down there. It's a lot of work to upkeep in the Midwest. When you got snow, rain, sleet, you just got, you have humidity. It's very, very hard to keep the dirt turns, but it would be fun. Because I'll tell you what, Toledo will go as late as they can because they know people will come and practice on that track, being the dirt turns and whatnot before Grands. They'll push it as far as they can just for that. And there's
I'm gonna have to disagree with Gmo on that one, because the what brought it up was because I seen Shannon Gillette was posting the 80s BMX Facebook page,
Mm-hmm.
and he was like doing it was kind of like a tour thing where it's like, oh look, a freaking an all dirt BMX track. They still do exist. There's a lot of them, so you can't go saying it's impossible.
Mm-hmm.
You can weed it out and you can make it happen. It's kind of like with the pop-up nationals that they did during COVID. It's doable. Maybe you got to knock down a couple nationals, not have as many as what they got now, change it up a little bit. It's kind of like freaking, I'll go back to downhill. Downhill, people were like skeptical because Red Bull pulled out. It was a whole new freaking ball game, and boy, was everybody freaking wrong, because now downhill is just crazier than it's ever freaking been. I mean, it's doable. It takes some work.
Mm-hmm.
But it could be, it's doable, because you're talking about the maintenance thing. Now, Nick, let's go back to the whole back in the day. This is how it was. It adds character. Okay, the characteristics. Okay, are you comfortable riding on dirt? You got, hey, this side's a little bit more packed than the other side. This side's a little bit more looser. That's where it's like, okay, you got to think. You got to be smart about it.
Mm-hmm.
So
someone just chiming in. Yeah, I agree with you. Let's see. Lorinda Anderson says we have one. I think referring to the dirt track. One of low and slow. Excuse me, low and slow over on YouTube. It says Toledo's been fighting the groundhog in the turns too. Also, I wonder if it's the same one from Caddyshack. I think he's probably gone, isn't he?
Oh yeah.
I'm pretty sure that groundhog's dead and gone.
Oh yeah, we've had rabbits and shit come out of turns and stuff before. It's crazy. It's cool.
Jimmy,
just don't run over there. We have squirrels, all kinds of crazy freaking varmints.
Jimmy Valentia. He says Rick Carter, our coach, our champ. Thank you.
Big Jimmy. Yeah, my kids, man. I had all my kids in the main event today, man. I was stoked, man. It was good, man. It was a big blessing today watching those kids freaking put in all their work and make their mains today.
All right. Well, talking about dirt tracks, let's put a fork in it. We'll move on to our next topic. What do we got? We talked about the roof ride. We did a little bit of that. Talk about the Pro Series going on right now, and I'll pull up the standings here. Rick, you brought up some points on this one about some of the injuries and the tolls are taking.
Yeah, dude, man, dude, the Pro, I mean, it kind of took a turn for the worst over there in Reno. I mean, racing stuff, Corbin went down, broke his wrist, then on Sunday, Isaac went down, broke his ankle, and dude, like, I'm talking like season ending for Isaac from what I've seen on the posts, man, dude, pretty detrimental, I mean, it with Corbin down, Bacardo's out, Isaac's down. We don't know about Cam Wood too, because he's hurt, Cam and Isaac, they had the whole battle. Everybody was like living up to it. Hey, I'm one of the guys too. Everybody was living it up. Like, dude, the Cam versus Isaac thing. Here we go. This is gonna really set the tone for this year for the pro stuff. This is kind of like what we needed. We needed that rivalry, and now it's kind of like gone away, And with the points lead that Joris has, I think Cam Larson is the next one closest, and I think he's down in fourth. He had a great weekend last weekend in Reno. Elise, I mean, unscathed. She's the first one to 800 points and stuff, and they were saying that she's done till grands. The women pro class.
What happened to Elise?
No, nothing happened to Elise. No, she won. She won out the whole weekend.
Oh, so she's just setting because her points.
Yeah,
okay.
Her points. Dude, I think she's up by like 300 points, man. So she could pretty much like walk into the main event at Grands, and that's it. Number 11 is in the bag. And I think same thing with Joris. Joris just needs to show up and kind of protect, just like show up, get the points and protect his points lead going into Grands and stuff. So yeah, it was pretty gnarly seeing it go down, especially, with Shara. Shara went down hard, already having Cam out. I mean, that kind of affects Team USA too, with everything that transpired there. So yeah, I don't know. It's a big one. Yeah, you got Reidenhauer. She's 190 points out.
So we got Cam out, we got Isaac out, so that leaves Joseph Leto basically in second place as far as points go.
Joey Leto.
Yep.
Oh, Sylvan. I mean, who knows when Sylvan's going to be back, because there's a lot of World Cup races going on overseas. Shara, he's out. Cam, he's still in the mix, and Jay Smooth. But I don't know. I mean, are they too far back to really make some noise in the points chase? I don't know, man. That's a tough one.
How many pro nationals do you know? Hang on, I had this up, so let me just open up another one to look and see how many pro nationals are left. Well, that's got to put with the injuries, and so Saraz out for. Would he be out for Worlds then with his broken wrist?
He might be. I mean, and with the same thing with Cam Wood. It's kind of like they're being real quiet about it. So
thank you, George.
Team USA is really freaking hurting right now, and I don't know the exact rules. I don't think we can get like any alternates, where you can go and get Cam Larson like grandfathered in or something. I don't know the whole rules and what it entails to make it happen. You know, I mean, I think Jeremy Smith, he's in and everything, but as far as that goes, Team USA is pretty hurting, man.
So this is right.
This probably depends too on if he broke just his wrist, how bad of a break.
Right.
When I broke mine, I was only out like 6 to 8 weeks. So if that's all that happened, he might come back and maybe bump back up in some points. I mean, just depends how bad the break is.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, they were pretty tight-lipped on that. Same thing with the Cam Wood thing. Nobody knows the severity of Cam's injury from when he tumbled down the big hill in New Zealand and stuff when it had been raining and stuff. He got crossed up and then he tumbled down. You know, nobody knows the extent of his injuries either. You know.
So that means we've got, obviously, this is for the Worlds team. That's the second week of August. Corbin can't. Unless they just duct tape him onto his bike, I don't foresee him being able to probably race with a broken wrist in a few weeks, because that's a month. So he's got a month.
That ain't gonna happen. It will not be healed in full. I know. I broke my wrist 3 times. There's no way it's healed in 4 weeks.
You get enough Peds and ibuprofen and Coors Light, and he'll be fine. Run it, baby.
So, George, thanks for chiming in. It's 7 scores left plus grands. So when we were talking about the pro points, there's still a few races in there for the Cam Larson, the Jeremy Smiths, as long as Joris doesn't show up. That guy has been on a tear lately. Like, wow.
Dude, he has just been, I mean, he's showing them what Big Daddy's all about, dude. You know, you can't friggin' shake a stick at Joris, man. The dude is just on a clip right now. And he's not young. You know, he's 10 years older, 11 years older than Cam Wood and Larson.
He could be
and Isaac. I think he's like 33 years older than Kennedy.
He's 33. Yeah. And he technically could be racing Vet Pro. Like, he can be in Vet Pro right now by rules.
And then again, you know, age really isn't a number till you get close, like up there. But I mean, 30s really isn't that old today, especially in this sport the way it's evolved. As long as you're fit and you can pedal hard and you're really good, I don't think it really matters today, you know, on age. I mean,
as long as you can stay away from the hard, big crashes off those big hills. I mean, that's a big thing. But that guy's he's so fast and just you don't see him getting tied up. You know, he's like, oh, had a bad gate. I got to pass 6 guys to get in. That's cool. Hang on, hold my hat. I'll be right back.
Yeah, his track speed is just ungodly. You know, he could race his way through a pack, which a lot of people can't. You know, once they get squeezed out, they're pretty much done. You know, there's only a handful of big pros that can race their way through a pack. If they're sitting 5th and they're looking on a transfer of 4 or transfer of 2, and they gain 3 spots, a straightaway here, a corner there, another straightaway here. Next thing you know, they're in the catbird seat, and it's just like, holy shit, we got to race.
He did it at was it Papendal, or was it a USA BMX race? It was one of the. It was, he totally.
Yeah, Papendal.
I don't know if he blew the gate or what, but he just come out and all of a sudden went up to 3rd. And I want to say he was 7th in the first turn or something. That was a great race.
If there's one thing I gotta say is when on the Greg Hill interview, I have to agree with them about the big hill, like the super.
Oh shit! Here we go. All right, let me just change this stuff right now off the screen. We're gonna go talk about Big Hill.
I agree with the point of this though. The only thing I agree with is I think they should eliminate that for the safety of the pros.
All right.
Of how he said how dangerous that is being clipped in. I get it. They want to go that, but you got to look. You look at what happened with Fields and when he went down, and he went down fucking hard. So you got to look at that. Like these guys aren't making that huge ass money they used to make, and to get out there and do that. I mean, I think if they want the pros to come back the way I look, let's bring it back like the way it used to be. Get the pros at the regular tracks having races every national. Bring them back there so the kids can look up to them, get autographs, do all, at every regular national, and steer away from the big track. Keep it on the local tracks and have them race there. Less the injuries, have more of this, bringing back that, like Rick said, that who's gonna win type, that bring that back. That's what we had in the 80s. When you watched like Stu Thompson, Greg Hill, all those guys going at it, you were like, okay, shit's going down, man. He wants these points. There's going to be, and there'll be bumping. There was always something to talk about. And like he said, that you don't have social media back then. The magazines, you waited for that magazine to find out what the hell was said or what the hell happened. Bring that back. Get back on the regular tracks. I think that would help the pros and not kill them when they're on those. I mean, it's sad that, to watch Fields go down and then he retires because he saw what he could have been killed. I mean,
yeah, and that's with a lot of them too. Same thing happened with Riley House. He was up and coming elite pro, and just practicing and went down. Sakabara, Kai, same thing.
He went
4 years ago.
Yeah, he got really messed up. So it just they need, and I don't think that was at a Supercross track, wasn't it? With
yeah, that was at the Olympic track. That was the testing.
Oh, was it? Okay.
I think the testing weekend.
But yeah, he went down super. I mean, where do you draw the line? It's like, these guys are doing it for not like the money the guys made back in the day. It's like maybe some other co-sponsors and maybe other what do you call them? Those sponsors, they make some money, but still, it's like
sponsors.
Yeah, and it's like, but is it worth it? I mean, you see this and it's like, I don't know, man. It's like, that's, if it's to the point where it can almost kill you, I don't know, man. It's like, I get it. It's cool and everything, but maybe they should just keep it on the regular tracks and bring back the pros like they used to be racing every national. You went there to watch them. I mean, instead of 6-7 nationals out of the whole year, you see them all. I don't.
Open the door, definitely. Let them all be a pro race. Especially like when you got the close ones, or twice a year, I think we have it where there's a national on the East Coast and a national on the West Coast. Make them both pro races where the pros can decide, or wherever they live or whatever's easier, they can go and hit the pro race over here on the East Coast. The pros over here can go hit the pro race on the West Coast, and let them battle it out at Grands.
And maybe USA BMX even will save some money not having to put in, if they do. I don't know how that all works, but I'm sure they pitch in, they have to have that all built to do all that. Maybe they'll save some money if you just keep it on the regular tracks, keep it here. I don't care if it goes overseas, but like on a regular track, but not those big supercross tracks, just for the safety. I mean, those tracks, I get it. It's cool to see when they're flying on it. But then you look at the safety of it. It's like, man, I wouldn't get out of that. I wouldn't go out of that gate. Hell. I'd be dead for sure. But I get it. They're pro. It's what they do. But I don't know. You see some of these crashes and what's happening now. It's like, man, are we going too far? Is it maybe we need to tone it down a notch for these guys? Yeah. I mean, it's not motocross. It's BMX. It's like, I don't know. I get it. But
you don't need the high speeds to make it racing. You can make it racy and everybody still be slower. Because the way the pro,
those guys are fast. It's not like you see them at Grands. They're hauling ass out there.
They're gonna get up to speed, no problem. They got no problem going fast.
Those guys got late.
So there's nothing wrong.
At least post legs, and they're like tree trunks, man. It's like her power is unbelievable.
These dudes are
it's like, holy shit. It's like, but I mean, it would just be, I think, for them, for the safety, and then bringing back that camaraderie, that whole pro thing of they're always there. So when you go to a national, if you got kids that are Corbin Sherrard fans, any of the other guys, but they're going to be able to go there and see them every national they go to and maybe get an autograph or whatever. And it brings back that whole hype,
So you're saying that the nationals all should be pro races is what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And I think
give the pros the option. Get in it's a points race. Get your points.
As long as they get paid, 'cause I know it's all about getting paid. I get it. They want to make money. I think and I could be wrong. I don't know how it all works. I don't work in USA BMX and all that. But it's like, but maybe if you eliminate that big track and save some money there with the Supercross track, and keep it just at the local tracks of the nationals, maybe they'll save a little money. They can throw a little more, get more sponsors. Who knows?
Right.
Puts a little more money maybe in the pros' pockets to get them to come out, and then you get that whole rivalry thing going again. Every national you go to, who's going to win? Who's going to, like we did back in the 80s and 90s. So they were at every national.
So,
but why is it now that
you've been in there you've been around for a while? I had this after Wednesday's show, and it wasn't just Wednesday's show, but look, we hear this: pros should get more money, pros this, pros that, right? And look, they're their own people. They got ways they can generate money. I just find it that it's not always who they're racing for's responsibility. Like, I don't think Eli Tomac, when he races, he sits around and waits for the AMA to say, hey, man, got a way for you to make more money. I don't believe that at all.
Yeah, those guys, I'm sure, making pretty penny doing motocross.
They do, but you know what? They also have, Bell helmets, Red Bull, and I don't think AMA is delivering that up. So I got a little issue when it comes to that, because flat out, I do believe there's a lot of pros that are just lazy. They'll go and they'll go to their Instagram, they'll post doing squats, they'll post doing first straights, and then they sit and it's like, that's not marketing yourself, okay? Like in the digital world, you doing squats, you with your pre-workout, you with your fucking protein and your first straights, and then you're posting your Monday post is, you know what, didn't quite get it, be back next week. Like, who fucking cares? Like, everyone's doing it. That's not making you any different than anybody else. Go to this. Where and what's making those that stand out? Who's doing it? Who have we talked about before? It's obviously a handful of people that do a very good job, and they barely post BMX. They do a lifestyle piece.
Maybe even do this and bring it back like you want the pros to get popular again. You want to get that hype back. Maybe.
Thank you, George. That's where I was headed,
go
George.
Back to the magazine days. Maybe the pros shouldn't make any videos or do anything on social media. Keep them underground.
I think, they
this
got.
way you're hype, but you don't see him all the time. So you're like, well, what's Cameron Wood up to? What's this guy? And you see him. The only time you're going to see him is at the national.
Well,
there he is.
I think that happens now with social media, because if you're not, like, I don't know how Rick does it. Rick is an anomaly of a person I've ever met that can follow every single amateur racer along with the pros. But like, I go in and check the follow for everybody in the elite classes and in the vet class, and I don't see a lot of them, right? So that's algorithms, that's what it is. But where I was going with this is, look, the social media posts of doing squats, first straights, all your other shit, it doesn't sell bikes anymore. And that's where I was going, George, is that it doesn't sell bikes. So how do you get back to pros selling bikes? Because if pros can't sell bikes, there's not going to be money coming in from these conglomerates that own these BMX companies. Look, we're always going to have some mom and pop companies that, move 50 to 100 frames a year that can afford a little bit for the pros. But like, we're talking the mongoose companies, the big companies that are owned by these bigger conglomerates, and they were that way back in the day. They had money behind them. How do they get back there? There also isn't enough bike companies to pay.
I think one thing is you need to eliminate a lot of the brand. Like you said, you had maybe 20 brands back in the 80s.
Well, there's the thing. But see, I don't even buy into that, because here's the thing. If you're doing it right, it's going to sell. Okay. So if I'm a company and I decide to be I'm going to throw my hat in with the 200 and other 50 people making frames, but I do it right, my shit's going to sell. It's going to sell if you do it right. Yeah. But look, but you also have that. You gotta fight against the people over here that are doing a tax write-off because they own this larger company up here, and they don't give a shit. They're just using it as a write-off. I get that part, but if you're doing it right, you're going to do it. And then the next point we're going to move into, because I want Rick to talk, and then the next thing we're going to talk into is exactly like what Jason Chang just put in there, because I've got it.
What are these? What's up, Jason Chang?
Yeah, but like this one has been burning on me because, so we're talking. Okay, so my question is, and it'll be for both of you guys: are the pros doing enough for themselves? Because it's been so easy for me, setting in the position like I just decided one day, hey, we're gonna start a podcast show, and then I met you guys, through the way and shit, and that's just what I keep hearing is like, they don't do enough. The USA BMX doesn't do enough. And I simply ask the question, the fuck are you doing? Because when I get up and go to work every day, I don't scream my company doesn't do enough. I go and do my job. That's what I do. All right? You don't get home and be like, they're not doing enough. Like, what? You go to work, you do your job, they give you a paycheck. That's how this works. You service render, you get paid. Like, they're screaming that we're not getting paid enough. What are you doing to get paid more? Rick.
Exactly.
Now my rant's done.
Yeah. Well, that a baby. You see, okay, going back to social media, you'll see a random pro, okay, like you talked about. Okay, they got their pre-workout, they got their supplements, right? Oh, dude, got a good freaking program going on. They appreciate these guys coming on board to support the deal. You'll see a handful of posts over a X amount of weeks time, and then next thing you know, it's gone, disappeared. And then maybe a month or two later, next thing you know, they're on another kind of program. Oh, dude, so-and-so freaking Dignity Health came on board, and I got their protein, I got their aminos, I got this, I got that. It's like, okay, what happened to the first one, dude? That didn't freaking
bro
last
deals
too long. Like,
fucking bro deals.
Yeah, you didn't give it time to set in, and it kind of goes back to Dirty Knobs with the boys, talking about how it was back in the day. You start off small, and the same thing with some of the mountain bike podcasts I've been listening to. It's like, you start off small. First, you're getting product. Then next, you're getting $100 a month. Then you keep going and you're growing. Then you got the product. Now you're getting an incentive of $200 a month. And it keeps, if you're content and you're solid and you're devoted to it and you want it bad enough, you're going to sell the hell out of that sponsor that just jumped on board and gave you a chance to go up to keep the product coming in. Next thing you know, you're up to $500 a month.
Mm-hmm.
This, that, or the other. The whole trickle down, kind of like the incentive programs that a lot of pros had back in the day. So it's like you said, Justin. Are you doing enough? You can't go and blame it all on the sanction. You can't. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like what I sent you. And it starts off in the lower ranks too. Factory riders not riding the product of their factory manufacturer or team that is paying your entry fees or whatever your deal is, but you're not supporting that brand. So that already there is like,
you talking about some of them Claiborne riders?
That's not bad.
They're not even on their own frames that they're supposed to be on.
Yeah, and you see it, and it's like, okay, this isn't
like, thanks,
like,
man, because pulling some shit like that's gonna get a company that's actually willing to sponsor to start second guessing the want to sponsor when it's like, yeah, we give these frames out, we do this, we pay entry fees, we help with this or that, and then we can't get you to ride the product we're giving you, or you're supposed to be, I'll just call it pimping out for the lack of better words. Yeah, that's awesome. Good stuff. Sponsor jumping.
But it's the God's honest truth.
I know. And sponsor jumping could be an entire 2-hour thing. So we'll let Nick wrap up on this topic because we're going to tear into this one with Jason Chang. All three of us are.
Well, it was like, for me, what was I always known for? I was the biggest promoter for my sponsors. When I got on Skyway, all I did was blast the hell out of their product. I didn't film me. I didn't film what I did. I mean, I might post how I want, like how I did.
Mm-hmm.
But the object was just to post about their product, where you can go to buy it. So it was constantly just advertising for them, which they love. That's how they make their money, is you be in the rider form, advertise their product.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody likes you, or they're going to say, oh, that's where I can go to get this. Okay, I'm going to Same when I was on Remix. I was on Remix. I blasted the hell out of Remix products or wheels, which I still run. Great wheels, but I don't ride for them. But when I did, I blasted the hell out of them constantly. And then then I got on 09. Same thing. Blasted the hell out of 09. Constantly doing it. I mean, I'm sure Justin, you see my posts. I mean, I'm on Facebook and. Now back not really with Skyway, but kind of an ambassador for them now. They're not really sponsoring anybody because they got a new owner, but they're cool with me just, running the stuff and,
Mm-hmm. Well, I can say,
still,
and I've used you as an example before. I'm like, this guy is, 51, 55 expert.
Yeah.
He's 51, 55 expert and does better marketing for sponsors than what I see across a lot of the other, top experts and amateurs or top amateurs and pros, just from sheer just grinding it out. And granted, it's, you hear like, oh, that's a full-time job. I got to train. Like, the fuck you train? How many hours a day do you train? Like, really, I know what you're doing. You're on Tinder. You're swiping left. You're swiping right. Shut the fuck up. Knock it off. All right. But
yeah.
Y'all out there saying
that question or just saying it?
No, I'm just saying it. I'm just saying it. But then you can. The pros should get paid more. What the fuck are they doing? What are they doing? Like, all right, show up, but you're not selling products. Like, what are you doing?
One more thing. Just one more thing on.
Okay.
When you say that about them, and it's about local racing, and if there's one thing that bugs the hell out of me the most, is you want local racing to come back, get everybody there to race. Because I hate when I go to the track and everybody shows up, but then people leave after practice. It's like, why is there a problem? We're not racing local. I don't get this. I'm like, what, is it too low key for people? I mean, I don't get it. It's
I get
you
what you're
want
saying.
that to come back. We need everybody to be there. What is the issue? I don't get it. I love the race. I'm always there.
Because a lot of people they're on that upper echelon where it's like, I'm a national rider. I don't do locals.
Why?
That's
well, it sure
a
wasn't
lot
that
of
way
them are
back
on
in the
that
80s, the
high
90s.
horse where it's like, I'm a national rider. I'm too good for freaking locals.
Why though? Is it a risk of injury? Like, what is it?
What difference does that make? If you get injured in the national, then you're done paying all that money, because then you can't ride. I'd rather lose $15 than lose $300.
Well, I was looking at like maybe a long-term thing, like.
Well, I
don't race locals because I'm factory sponsored. You first of all, that's another show that we're already putting in the works. What's a real factory sponsorship? Because here, hey, I hate to say this to you, when you're paying for your shit at a discount, it's not a sponsorship. Okay, I don't want to see other shit at the end of the year from all these fucking people posting on there like, oh, gonna do better next year. Gotta thank my sponsors. They're not sponsors. You're paying for the shit. They're called supporters. Let's get it right. Yes, it's a personal button for me.
What that's really called is either a co-sponsorship or there's another, like, can't think of the other name of what they used to call that. But when you get a discount, it's
full factory nowadays, Nick.
Nowadays, everything.
You got a discount code, dude? You're on social media saying you're full factory.
You got a discount code, dude. You're full blown, dude. You're pretty much freaking. You're going to Thanksgiving dinner and you're getting a fucking Christmas card.
Oh my fucking god!
December.
Hey, you know what, dude? I got a jersey and it says factory on it. That's the factory it was made in. No. It's factory. It's factory, bro. The fuck, it's not factory. You have a discount code to order some protein off of GNC. You're not factory GNC. Shut the fuck up and sit down and go do some sprints. How many sprints did you do last week, bud? None? Because you were posting on social media your fucking squats at the gym with bumper plates. That's what you were doing.
I did a lot of sprints last week, Justin, and I got motoed fucking today, bro, because I got kicked down to 3640. Jesus Christ. Son of a bitch. I'm trying, damn it. I'm trying.
Oh,
Baby Jesus.
It just sucks when you get older, trust me.
Stay at a Motel 6 and save 50%.
And there's no way I'm doing
goddamn
sprints in
pay the same
170
codes.
Look, you want a real discount? Hey, I'm going to let you in on a real discount. The AARP cannot discriminate on age. So at 20 years old, I got an AARP membership, and I've been using that thing since I was 20 for hotel discounts. There you go. Now go out, get your discount, be factory AARP. Fucking factory. All right, next. All right, let's go to the next topic. I'm all done ranting.
And that's the show, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. No.
All right, and Justin just pissed off the entire 30 and over class. All right, so Jason Jang said, kids today don't care about pros. I totally agree with you. And you know what? How many kids he puts in here run to the fence like they did back in the day? It's a good point, and here's what I'll say on this one.
That is a very good question.
I don't want to hijack this.
That's my point about every national. They should be racing.
But here's the thing. Is I don't see kids rushing. I see more parents rushing to the fence, you know, and I think there's a lot of competition, mainly these guys, right? So you got kids that you're competing. Sorry, it's a cell phone. You're competing with, you know, literally like the 15-second video clips, you know, like that's, you know, like they're scrolling through on whatever the hell popular social media platform. That's really hard to break that to go watch the pros. And I don't see many kids rushing to the fence for the pros. What do you see, Nick? And then we'll go over to Rick.
Well, that's my point I was making.
Mm-hmm.
If you bring it back to the regular tracks, bring back that whole battle between the pros, not have them be on social media so much so they see them and they get used to seeing them so they don't get that hype anymore. You eliminate that so they don't know what's going on. The only time you're going to see them, if they can somewhat maybe bring back a magazine, and I know
BMX
Toby
Action.
Henderson brought back BMX Action.
Yep.
Working with something to bring back a mag. And you put like some articles in there, give them a little bit. If you get all this feedback on social media, that's what where's the kids get to see all that. So now they're no big deal about the pros anymore because they see it all day long. Hide that. Tell the pros not to do that, and show up at the national. Make them race every national. This will bring the kids back to know what's going on with them. That they're going to run up and want to ask questions or get an autograph and find out. If you keep it like the old days, that's what we did. Jason's totally right. We didn't get to see these guys unless you got your new BMX Action or BMX Plus or whatever magazine you had. You opened up to see what they did. Oh, how'd that race turn out? Okay, who got what? Who got in a fight? Blah, blah, blah. That's what you did. And then when the race came down and it was a battle between two guys, you were at that fence watching, going, okay, let's see what's going to happen here and see the battle. You don't do it now. Today, you don't. That barely even happens. So that to me needs to come back. I think for the pros, make them race every national.
Okay.
Like it used to be.
Well, they did. They have the pro. What is it? Rick, help me out. Now, and it's over to you. They do the
Which one?
At all the nationals. They have the option for.
No. Well, that's the open, and that doesn't necessarily mean that there's actually any pros there.
Right, but there's an option there. Obviously, it's not to Nick's point, but it is an option, right?
Yeah, there's an option,
Okay.
but oh man, what the hell was it? Where it was mainly a lot of kids in the 17-20 that showed up. I forget what the hell national
but I mean,
it was.
the big thing to Nick also is, get the pros every national, like Nick's saying. That's a great idea. But with the Pro Open, if I'm wrong, like, please check me, somebody. The Pro Open thing at all the nationals, isn't that just entry fee payback?
Last I heard.
So there's really not like an initiative. Where I'm going with this is there's not an initiative or a real, like, there's not really much there for, like, say, like a top tier pro to go to.
Right. Yeah. No,
Okay.
It's not like you got Upshaw or anybody loading up with the kids or whatever. I mean, they did have it on Sunday at Reno because Drew, because Polk was out here.
Okay.
And there wasn't enough riders in under 23, so they combined with elites on Sunday and everything, you know. So it was kind of like a mixed open deal, but they didn't really have like the Pro Open per se, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And going with Nick on the social media stuff. So let me go back to on my end is I don't think the pros are as available. Hopefully that's the right saying.
Okay.
As far as doing like back in the day. Okay. Let's see here. Let me move the camera here. See if I got enough cord. Okay. So over right there,
the big checks
is a Sam Willoughby check. Over there is Elise Post check. I have over here on the wall a Brooke Crane check. That's from the garage. Okay, that's not my gym. I got cardboard checks from Nobles, Caroline Buchanan, Blake Paulson, and all those guys. Okay, so back in the day, so let's say Willoughby and Elise, back in the day when Jason Carnes ran the whole Red Line deal. Okay, the pros were out and about doing clinics and reaching out and traveling to other tracks to keep that persona and to keep the whole pro stature to the younger kids. You know, my kids went bonkers. All right, they like kids back then when my twins and my oldest were younger. Hell, I think the oldest, I think she was like 12, and my twins had to be like 9 or 10. You know, and we'd be at a national, and they're fighting for the check. You know, they knew the pros. They knew the point standings. I used to bet with my kids $1 for a hole shot. You know, and the Brooke Crane check that I showed, Brooke Crane, she's local out here, still is. You know, even at the time when she was pro, you know, she's only an hour and a half away. Our local track denied her. This was, I think it was like maybe her second to last year before she retired, denied her a clinic to do at the local track.
Why?
You know, so it's like, okay, what the hell was up with that, dude? How do you, dude, insane Brooke Crane, dude. She's a local here. She's wanting to do a clinic, bring in the kids, you know, whatever the hell their percentages is on the prices and all that stuff. Out here, we haven't had that for years. You know, the only one that we do have is Vet Pro, Jake Peebles. Jake Peebles hustles his ass off. Yeah. Okay, for jet racing.
He's a good guy,
and he does clinics everywhere. You know, so I don't know. Is it a thing because the pros aren't as available now as they were back in the day? Maybe it's their own thing. Maybe they don't want to do clinics. Maybe they don't want to travel. You know, I know Jeff Upshaw, Justin.
Well, a lot of them.
Upshaw.
I've heard
he's all over the place. You know, and he's a vet pro.
But okay,
I don't know.
What about money?
That's what they would, you know, they would say that. You would ask them if they, you know, they would race, and they're like, well, it's how much they get paid. It's about how much they're going to make. And I get it. That's their job. They're a pro rider to make money. I get that. But
I'm missing the correlation from what Rick was talking about with the doing clinics to the pros getting paid. Like, why would?
Oh, I'm sorry. I misunderstood him. I thought he was talking about getting them to show up to ride. That's what I thought he meant. I messed up then.
Oh, okay, my bad. Yep. All right, go ahead, Rick.
Yeah, you know, I think the availability of the pros being able to have that reach to the younger generation of the kids, like filling the freaking fence lines when the pros are up, I think that has gone down.
Yeah, big time.
You know, because I remember my son, you know, you guys know Ricky, you know, he's 1720 expert. He used to sit on the side of the straightaways and just watch them get laps at our local or at another nearby track wherever the pros may be, you know, because back in the day, it was like pros would travel. You'd get a handful of pros out here for a couple weeks, and they'd be at a local or a close proximity local where they're out there for like a week practicing, and you get to rub elbows. You know, they're about the kids. They're chalking it up. You know, out here where I'm at, dude, we haven't seen that in years.
So you're saying that a lot of the reason maybe some of the kids aren't getting up to the fence line is they don't see the pros like they used to when the clinics would tour around and they were just more accessible.
Yeah, you know, the newer generation of kids in like the 5 novices, or 6 intermediates, or whatever the case may be, you know, they haven't got the experience like that kind of hands-on with the pros, where it's like, oh, so and so visited my track, dude. I got a goodie bag or whatever, or he gave me knuckles, or I took a picture after practice. He was here practicing because he was visiting or something.
So
you don't see that anymore.
Let me throw this hypothetical at you guys. And as soon as I do, we won't answer it because I'll run through real quick. There's some people that have made some points in the chat. I want to make sure that we get that shouted out. And so here's the thing. So the 3 of us start a bike company and we say, look, we're going to sponsor this pro. We're going to get this product. Then we want that pro to go out and do the things that we're saying. Do you think that will help? Like them going out, being accessible, high-fiving kids. Two-part question for you, and I'll circle back to it. Do you think it'll help get the kids to go to the fence to watch that pro? And is it going to help sell our frame? Now, before we answer, I want to go through real fast because there's a bunch of people that have jumped in saying hi, and you've had a few people saying nice job today on the microphone, Rick.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
So here, let me get up here. Jeremy Lawler, what's up, fellas? Hey, man, thanks for joining us. Tim Canundiff, he said great job on the mic today, Rick.
Oh, Big Tim. Hell yeah. Sandbox Militia, baby. Got the hat.
A little lower. There it is.
That's my dude.
And then we've got Lorinda Anderson, and she was agreeing with...
that's Danica's mama.
Yep. And then we also have her uncle, Ronnie Anderson. He's in there saying,
Ronnie.
Lorinda was saying...
Oh, no.
She chimed in. She chimed in the middle.
I think Rich is in there too.
Is he? She chimed in the middle. Yeah. She chimed in the middle of my rant, saying they're called co-sponsors. Thank you. The audience for Newell Wayne. He says, look, the audience for BMX isn't big enough for sponsors to put out good money. That's a great point. William Prince makes a good point. Is that Drew Polk does a really good job on his social media. He's not a pro. But there's probably a lot of pros that could learn from Drew Polk, and y'all could learn from Barry Nobles too. Let's see. George Vick says pros used to have an allure and mystique since you didn't see them all the time. This kind of nod to what you were saying, Nick. Outside of magazines, nowadays everybody has access to them. And he says also, I think he was commenting on the thing about where I was talking how everyone thinks you're a pro. You just put thinks you're factory, just slap it on your shirt or jersey. Same uniforms, bikes, media access, etc. Like pros should be in a different uniform than what the other people. I get that. Bill Prince says, don't get me started on today's pros. He'll just start yelling, get off my lawn. Bunky Eckstein says, good job today, Rick. Tim Sato.
Bunky ain't bunking with Binky. That's for damn sure.
Tim Sato says, you nailed it, Rick. Jason Chang. But today, kids think they're stars too. So the pros are not special to them. That's a damn good point, Jason. So he says, the kids think they're the stars today, and the pros aren't special to them. Everybody is posting stuff, and everybody gets a trophy. Everybody's special attitude is taking them from looking up to truly great riders. And that's a really good point with, you got kids that are out, they got to be Insta famous and Snap famous or whatever the hell else the other social media posts or platforms are. Mike Melvin said that Brooke Crane thing didn't cost a penny. He did all the work. Mr. Bierman joined in. He said, Rick, how's it going? Let's see.
Mike was a big proponent on the Brooke thing. We're all good friends, real tight with Brooke, and when that happened, it was like, dude, you got to be kidding me, dude. You're like, and I think at the time that year, she was sitting second, dude. It was like her and Elise had one of the biggest battles going on for the women pro season that year. It was like, dude, how the hell are you gonna go slam the door on your local pro that a lot of kids out here freaking look up to? Even back when she was on Claiborne, You know,
Did we
there was a
know?
big
Did we
following.
know? At the end of the day, did we end up knowing why there was this? They didn't let her do it. Like what? Or no?
It's just, you know how some track operators
all right,
are, man.
Fair enough.
You know.
Bierman says he actually got to meet Riley House at a clinic. So we were talking earlier about how clinics are kind of. I don't see as many of them, but I do see the ones I do see are still out there grinding away. So because of the lack of presence, the kids don't know who they are. Therefore, they don't know who to watch. That's a good point. That's from Ray Verdugo. And then Lorinda Anderson says, Richie's sitting here. And Rick and Nick are doing awesome tonight. We appreciate you guys all joining, and we appreciate you chatting. When you guys comment, that's when we can see your name and get you a shout out for watching. And thank you. All right. So, Nick, we talked about, hey, if we did the things we just talked about, if we got a pro
Hey,
to
just
do
so
that.
you know, I can't see you guys.
Oh, hold on. That's funny.
I just have the mixed open show picture on the screen. There you go. Now I'm back.
Sorry about. We didn't lose. The good thing was we didn't lose you.
I just came on and I'm sitting after a while. I thought maybe you were flipping through and then
No,
just sat there
sorry,
for a while.
sorry. So, oh gosh, there, and you even told me in the chat. So for you, with what we said before, we did the chat check-in was like if we had somebody got them to go do the local, go to locals, be more present, high five, shake hands, kiss babies, and those things. Do you feel that would help sell a product? So you got to change from I'm the rider, and these are the things that the riders could do, the pros were to say the pros could do for.
I don't know who you wanted to go with first, but
you go ahead.
No, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Nick.
I would think so. I mean, I would think that if the pros were there more and interacting with the kids, that would probably help sell their product more. I could be wrong, but I would just think like we saw them back in the day. There were all national races all the time. It made you want to buy that bike. It made you go. I was a big Richie Anderson fan growing up.
Mm-hmm.
I like Skyway. I've always wanted. I was a Stu Thompson fan. I always liked Redline. It's what I bought. I've always had those. It's like, but that's when we bought that product. Were those guys? So it was like I watched them, bought their product, and that was their game plan by doing that. They would ride that product to have the kids buy that product. Mm-hmm. Do that again. Get the pros back out more. Help me, and get that product out. I know they're doing it somewhat, but it's a little different than it was back then.
Okay. All right. What about you, Rick? What do you think? Do you think a business model, something like that could work?
I know it did back in the day. Like I said, when Jason Carnes was in charge of the whole Redline thing, and they would do the Redline clinics. It was Elise, Sam, and Denzel Stein and Tori Nyhawk back when he was younger. And they did the traveling deal. He would roll up, and it was, I forget initially what it was called. If it was Redline.
Wasn't it Redline Challenge? Wasn't it Redline Flight Academy?
Yeah, Flight Academy. There you go. That a baby. Hey, 2 points for you, Justin.
Once in a while. Once in a while.
Hey, every so often, baby, you can pull something out your ass. Dude. That's my dude. And it was big, but it brought exposure. And out here, I had 2 red lines for my son. Okay. Every other kid out here was on a red line because of
I had one
doing that. Same thing with Brooke Crane when she was on Claiborne. Mike knows Mike was and still is a Claiborne dealer. Dude, he couldn't keep Claibornes on the freaking shelf.
You know what? That go ahead, because George just nailed this. Where you're going? Go ahead.
Yeah, no. Carry on with it.
Because
that's what it was out here.
Yeah.
Where I'm at. I don't know about like throughout the other states, but just speaking on a local presence of where I am and who we dealt with, Blake Paulson when he was on Double Cross, then the Double Cross frames when Double Cross first came out with Big Bob out of Oklahoma, then the Double Crosses started to be a big thing, because of a local, kind of like Vendetta. Vendetta had a handful of good riders. Pete Pascal, one of them. A lot of Vendetta frames were being over here on the West Coast, So it's kind of to that nature.
And what I was going to say that George put in there was he thinks like totally local experts, local pros have, and I'm adding the local pro part, but your local experts have way more influence on brand purchases than pros. And you have those also, like I kind of lump them in like your local pros, right? So you got some of these guys and gals that they're just local to this area, and then they pop in. They don't have the opportunity to do as much traveling. So it's not a knock that I'm saying local pros. It's just they're doing what they are.
But George who is that?
Oh, sorry, that was George Vick.
Oh, George Vick.
Yeah,
Okay.
Gmo. And I agree there.
What's up, Gmo?
I totally can see where, your local, we're going to put in the local expert with the local pro in there. Why they would, because it's the next point. You're going to see it. You're going to go buy it, right? Mm-hmm. You're going to continually see it. And that pro is probably going to be doing some clinics or doing some speed seminars, whatever they call them now, at your track. And yeah, that could be the first pro that the kids or families meet, and they're going to go buy it. Hopefully that pro's doing it, that part of the end of the deal.
Another
thing. I totally agree. The older experts. Okay. So like Ricky's 17, 20, a handful of other kids that are on his team, Quinn Duran, we got Peter Elizondo, Bobby Conley, we're literally in the backyard of Tangent Riff. They're an hour and 15 minutes north of me. So we're swamped with riff frames because of the older freaking experts. Then I want to say S Square because of what I do and Mike promoting it too, and with Jake Peebles is I want to say the S Square brand is probably sitting on the 2, maybe the 3 spot over here locally as far as popular brands. Of how we promote it, and that's up to us, and the older kids of what they're running, and then as of late, the Stay Strong brand, Stay Strong frame. So we're sitting on Stay Strongs, S Squares, and Riffs, so that's kind of where we're at. You go down a little bit more southern, in the areas that and which is cool, and seeing a big push is the LDC brand starting to come back, Carvajal, LDC always put out great products. I ran a lot of LDC stuff on all 3 of my kids, when they were younger. They're a great brand, so that's kind of like where we're sitting over here on where I'm at, where it's like you got like that popularity kind of thing,
What's popular over by you?
Everybody knows, hey mom, hey mom, hey dad, so-and-so's got these wheels, I need these wheels. Or, oh, they got that frame because I'm sucking because I'm not on a Riff, I'm not on a S Square, I'm not on a Stay Strong. Next thing you know, freaking factory dad dumps freaking $600. You got a brand new frame in 3 days,
Yeah, what's popular over by you, Nick? Like, do you see a trickle down from this?
Frame wise, it's Rift is big. Got Daylight Boy. Rift. I'm trying to Chase. It's kind of a mix up. It's just everybody, whatever they like. But it's those newer stuff.
Is there an influence by like some fast experts or people like that at your track? Do you see like so and so's on this? And then you see a lot of those frames start popping up around your track?
No, at Chandler, where I mostly race, okay. Like I say, you see the Chase frames, you see the Rift frames. And I don't always look at everybody's frame. I don't like study their bikes all the time.
That's understood. That's all right.
But I like my buddy Kevin. He rides for Gordy's, and he's on they use Rift. So I see his, obviously, and a lot of the Gordy guys around here, so they're on Rifts. So then there's friends of mine, they got Chase frames, and then there's, I'm trying to think, what's the other guy? There's a few 09 frames of the new style, like I still run. But there's really I don't think there's really no top, like Rick was saying, like a top frame that you see tons of. I think it's kind of a big mix up here at the Chandler track of what people ride. But I have to take a look at it because I don't really study their front, really look at them. But I'm going to do that come Monday. I'm going to look and see what everybody's riding. I'll get back to you on it. See what I see most of out there. because I don't really look. I don't study their frames. I just too busy concentrating on riding. But those are the ones I do see.
All right. And real quick here, we got a few people chiming in. Ray says Alpha. Jason Chang says, in reality, you should market to the wallet, which is the parents. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Tim says Haro, I think, is going to make a comeback. I agree with you. I think they made some moves, putting Nick back in as a team manager. And then they just brought in Scott as their, I forget what his title is right now, but they brought Scott in to help run the part of the company too. God, I'm just drawing a blank.
On which one was that one?
Haro.
Oh, okay.
Scott Town just got hired. I forget what his title is. He's like in at the company, and then obviously you got the captain doing the team manager for the race team. They're putting that back together. So I agree with you, Tim. There's going to be a good push with Huffy. Not Huffy. Sorry, Haro already has. And when Huffy makes a comeback, that's going to be Rick and I running that team.
Yeah.
In the Skyway,
Alpha's only an hour and a half south of me too, and Alpha was really big. Shane and Rebecca.
Alpha's big too. I see a few of those frames around here too.
They put in a ton of work, and the Alpha frames are really big. They kind of died off for a little bit, but they got a legit frame, dude. I've always been a big fan of the Alpha frame.
Yeah, they are. Just the thing I'll say about it, and I don't want to construe it as any shit talking, I remember seeing them and the Mosquitoes running them, and I was like, dang, those are cool. And when I was shopping for frames, it was hard for me to find a place to buy them in the Midwest.
What frame?
An Alpha. And
an Alpha.
Like I know I'd go to J&R. I think it was J&R. It was one of the mail order ones, and this is like 4 years ago, so forget me because that seems like eternity. But I would look around. And I wasn't doing the nationals, and we really weren't doing the show, so it wasn't like I had all these friends in the sport like I do now. But like I remember, like that's a really nice frame. Like it just didn't seem gimmicky to me. It just seemed straight up like a good geometry.
It's pretty basic, honestly.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, I don't know. Maybe it was just that it was out of stock at JNR when I looked or something. I don't know. Robert says the Arizona, the bike influence. Is that influenza? Fucking autocorrect. It's either that or Cardozo's having a stroke. Arizona, the bike influence lot by teams. Teams are big. Okay, I see what he's saying. So he's saying that the bikes are influenced by the teams in Arizona, which, okay, I get that. That makes sense. Damon Tucson, what's up? He must be getting off DJing. And he says that he'd like to see Free Agent make a comeback. Yeah.
Yeah, they kind of like disappeared.
Dude, did they not just fall off the frickin'
they had.
You know what? We talked about that. I want to say that that was like a year ago. I think Mike and I talked about that on the show on all the hitters that they had, and then Free Agent just died off, and the freestyle riders that they got Bryce, or one of my local kids here, he rides for Free Agent. He's Free Agent monster. Lives down in SoCal now, and Free Agent used to be, dude, Marish, I think, used to ride for him.
He did.
And they just fell off the face of the racing earth, and took their stuff to freestyle. Free Agent was one of the OG freaking teams back in the day.
Yeah. And any of my friends in Michigan, if you're looking to get a job in BMX, and you live in the middle of the state, hit me up, because the KHS dealer, which is who owns Free Agent, is looking for a sales guy. Just if you feel like you want to sell yourself into the sport. What are you doing there, Nick?
Yeah, I was trying to adjust something here.
No. And then we got Ray Verdugo. He says,
"Oh, Big Ray, that's my dude, man. Ray's a cool cat, man."
He says Shane threaded.
Right, yeah, he's the owner of Alpha, man.
He says he's a great guy.
He's a solid dude.
Send me his info. Let's get him on one of the All Things shows so we can chat with him directly for about an hour.
Yeah, Shane's a good dude. Well, he does kind of like what Giffy, dude. He does, and Phil. He runs easy ups too. He's got Granger print solutions.
Oh, I've seen you share
so,
their stuff.
So Shane's yeah, he's a big dude. You know, he did our easy up and stuff for the team and everything. You know, Shane's a good low key dude and just stays to himself. He has his team and everything. You know, he does a real good job, dude. I'm a big fan. I'm a good friend of him too. You know, I've always been a big fan, especially when he dropped that frame. You know, that alpha frame is pretty damn good.
All right. We got time for another topic here for I got to jump off. And let's see here. What else do we have, Rick? Well, let's ask Nick, did you have a topic you wanted to hit on before we get out of here?
Don't really have anything. Nothing really comes to mind. What was I going to say? I was going to say something about pros. It'd be nice to maybe see some pros more come to, like, not that I hit too many of them, but like you don't see too many. Oh, maybe they do. I don't go to them anymore, so I shouldn't really say that. Because I used to go to practice days, but I use local racing as my practice now. Because at least I'm racing with the guys I race against and stuff, and I just saved that little bit of money. But you know, practice sometimes you get too many people mixed up on there, and it's hard to get around. But just good to see more pros out there if they're doing it. That was one thing I would like to see more of. Is just seeing pros. You know, it's nice to go like on a race night. It's like if a pros or even like sometimes Rachel Mydock will be out at Chandler track practice, and it's kind of nice just to get in the gate with her and just do a gate with her, and you see how fast she is, and she just takes off and leaves you in the weeds. And you know, it's just cool to gate with somebody like that, to have that, you know, and I think that's cool.
How about you, Rick?
So yeah, no, I totally agree. That is good. You know, when you got a local pro loading up and it's like a practice night or local night or whatever, and then like they show up, and that's the thing, you know, we haven't had that out here for a long freaking time, you know, and it's kind of tough. I was actually surprised with the pro turnout that we had in Reno last week. You know, the pro turnout last week was awesome. It was great. You know, I mean, a lot of pros have moved toward the East Coast and everything, and to see what we had out here in Reno was pretty good. It was like, man, dude, pro racing is rocking and rolling out here, you know, and it was good racing. You know, a lot of the big names. Nobody thought Elise was going to show up, and you know she did. You know, Isaac Kennedy showed up. Joey Leto was there. You know, Corbin was there. You know, it was good stuff. And Laney Vaughn was there. Carly Kane was there. It was Manuela Roldan from Florida. She flew all the way out for her birthday weekend and diced it up. You know, it was really good. It was refreshing. It was like, dude, the pro racing is freaking stacked out here this weekend. This is good stuff.
All right. And we appreciate everybody for tuning in this mixed open show.
Yeah.
What is this?
Yeah, no, definitely, dude. It's awesome. The mixed open, it's good. It breaks it up. You know, the one thing too that like I had, and we could give it a little flavor saver for everybody to sleep on for the next show, and make a good topic. Is, you know, a lot of people go, oh, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Okay, well, they kind of like went that route with downhill, going back to the whole thing. Well, dude, why are you always posting mountain bike stuff? Because, dude, right now it's a hit. Okay, you know, with the whole format that they're running. Hey, what's to say we go and change the format for pros and BMX? Okay, I got a moth out here trying to eat me. So downhill, they're going. And everybody thought, dude, downhill was going to freaking take a shit because Red Bull's gone, this, that, the other. The sun rises and sets because of Red Bull. Okay, I get it. They put up a shit ton of money. They got a great system. Okay, now you got the whole new format. I have, with all the YouTube and shit, Justin, I know it drives you nuts because I'm all over social media and YouTube and all that. It's like, dude, how do you keep up with it? Team no sleep, baby. Yeah. The format that they got now in downhill is ridiculous. I've never seen bike mechanics and riders so stressed out in my life that I've been watching this. Okay, because now their format is they're getting points on how they qualify. They're getting points on how they end up in the semi. then they're getting points going on into the main event. So you got 3 different points systems going on for one goddamn weekend, and then I think it's like the top 20 are protected. What if we were to go and let's just say, hey, we're going to change the format of pros to make it interesting? Because like we talked about earlier in the show about, okay, the injuries for on the guys' side. Joris is pretty much going to walk away with it. Elise, she's going to be 11-time champ. What if they changed it up? Okay, and so you have 4 motos of quarters. Okay, let's just say the winner of each quarter gets a free pass from a semi to the main event. So now you got 4 spots open. Okay, semis come up. You're taking the top 2 out of each semi. Okay, you're focusing on winning. Where it's like, oh, I'm sitting third. They're taking 4. Okay, I'm cool. I'm just gonna sit here. Where if you emphasize the winning part, maybe you can get in a little bit more money on it. Imagine you got 4 dudes from quarters getting a free pass to the main. You got 4 locked in. The semis, everybody knows. Okay, semis, it's the final 16. You're taking 2 out of each semi to fill in those final 4 spots.
You're basically making those guys having the race, not just.
They got a race. I mean, you want to talk about cutthroat, and if they can somehow, some way, shape, or form bring up the dollar amount or whatever, because you're emphasizing the winning part, kind of like downhill, and emphasize it and somehow kind of weed it in. Like, dude, I mean, imagine that.
I'd say we get in the weeds on this one. We'll get it. It'll either be Friday or Saturday, right? We'll just.
It don't matter, dude. Tomorrow, who gives a shit?
All right. Well, we're gonna get out of here. It was great hanging out with you guys. Nick, thanks for joining. Right, Rick, it's always a pleasure.
Hell yeah, Justin. Hell yeah, Nick. Good show, guys. Yeah. Appreciate it, man. That was a good one, man. Appreciate everybody for tuning in too. I got moto.